Hello and welcome to episode 202 of the Random Nintendo Podcast. I'm Jason.
And I was about to say Jason, but I'm actually Angel.
What a twist. Imagine if you were also... What if it was just two Jasons?
This podcast would flop faster than... What flopped recently? La Llorona?
What? Oh, is that horror movie?
Yeah, that I've heard has been getting review bombed. Well, not review bombed, because that implies that people are giving it bad reviews because they just don't want it to do well.
It just got bad reviews.
Yeah, it just bombed.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, it's fitting you make that reference because I feel like we're temporarily turning into a movie podcast this episode because as our title of Lights, Camera, Pikachu implies...
What do you mean? The Resident Evil movie hasn't come out late.
Well, but there's a Detective Pikachu movie. And we're also going to be talking about the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie, or at least the trailer, which is...
That is also a thing.
It's been through a lot. It's really that poor movie. Yeah, so we do have some game news too, I should be fair. There's discussion of like what makes a good game port that we're going to talk about. Tetris 99 surprise DLC, hints of what Nintendo's working on to attract new audiences to the Switch. We've got all that.
The Raising Kratos documentary.
Sure, why not?
It's a movie.
It's a movie. But yeah, it's interesting because like with the attracting audience thing, it's not like what Nintendo's doing. I mean, we'll get to it later, but my theory is not what you may think it is. So,
really?
Yeah. Wow. So a little intrigue, just like a good
Damn.
movie. There's intrigue,
Ooh,
suspense. You
got me hooked.
I know. So there's for everyone who wants to skip around, we have timestamps at roundtown.com on episode 202. Also, if you're on YouTube, they're right under the video. But at the end of the day, as has kind of been established already, what's really dominating the video game world right now, and in some ways you could say rocking the video game world, Sonic, is movie adaptations. And since it is the tail end of Detective Pikachu's opening weekend, it only feels right to kind of start there. As you may have surmised over the past, 6 months or so, I'm kind of obsessed with this movie. As soon as the first trailer hit, I was on board, and that means I, of course, saw it on opening night this past Thursday. But you, Angel, have not yet, right?
No.
When are you planning to?
At my earliest convenience.
That works. It actually provides us with good opportunity because what we can do is, since it's opening weekend, I don't think it'd be fair to start sharing spoilers this early on. So I can kind of give like my own spoiler-free impressions and overarching like take on the movie, and then once you see it, in that subsequent episode, we can then have a sort of spoiler-filled discussion about all the nitty-gritty details and your take on it, and sort of look at it from two different angles, two different ways. So it kind of works out. Really, I'm just saying like. The reason I'm even suggesting we do a split is because I'm way too amped up about Detective Pikachu to just like sit on my hands and wait for you to see it. Like I gotta talk to someone or like some ones, as the case may be with a podcast. So
well, you have listeners.
Yeah, one's sitting right across from me. I like to think
you have listeners.
Okay, but no, I do I do want to say I don't feel like I'm super biased. I think my takeaway of the movie is pretty fair, even though I was very excited for it. It's just that like. It's just I truly get the feeling that like a Transformer fan had or a Marvel fan had or a DC fan had when they see a property they absolutely truly love, one that like defined their childhood, be adapted to the big screen for the first time. Like for me personally, sure, Transformers is cool, Marvel's cool, DC's cool, but with Detective Pikachu there's like that personal connection. Like Pokemon was my childhood, full stop. So that's why I'm like, I need to talk about it. Like and that's why I'm so hyped. I can still be, I think, fair, but we'll see as we go through. But it is my, I'm saying it was my whole childhood. There's actually this study that just came out that demonstrates how if you're into something like a super hardcore amount as a kid, like if you develop a really strong familiarity with it, it can actually rewrite your brain to some extent. So they use Pokemon to prove this, which is the only reason I'm bringing it up. It's kind of funny. But they got something like 11 experienced Pokemon fans who started playing when they were like 5 or 8 years old. And they compared them against 11 folks who did not do that. And what they did is they showed them images in some of the first 150 Pokemon. And a specific region of the experienced player's brain would light up when they saw the Pokemon. It was a different region of their brain than if they saw a face or a picture or an object. Like, typical everyday stuff. It was like a specific, like, fandom Pokemon region thing. What I'm saying is, like, if you're curious about the study, we have a fuller link in the blog post. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm that guy. Like, Pokemon, I have the Pokemon region in my brain. Like, Pokemon is that movie, that adaptation that clicks with me on a deeper level, which is why I'm so excited to talk about it. I'm sure you know.
I know. Jason's fandom goes deep. I mean, he's beaten every game.
Hey, you can be a fan.
He's watched all the shows. Actually, this is something I kind of wanted to ask you. Like, would you consider yourself a Marvel fan?
Mm-hmm.
So would it be fair for me to be like, oh man, you're a Marvel fan, so can I recommend you like Spider-Man number 25 from Superior?
So fandoms come in many shapes and
I
sizes and
know,
forms.
yeah, but I mean, like, if
I'm a Marvel movie fan.
So, yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying this like as like, oh, you're not a true Marvel fan. I'm just kind of asking in general, like just like an open-ended question, because I feel like it's kind of interesting that I feel like a lot of people, like, I would say like, yeah, that you could be considered a Marvel fan. The MCU is so big at this point that, I mean, it doesn't just, Marvel doesn't necessarily just mean comic books, but that example also bring up also means that like it's still very much divided, because I feel, I guess at least in your case, even in my case and even some other things, like I probably would never like read. Like I myself would probably. Well, okay, we'll get to you. You probably
go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
No, it'd be easier if I just go with your example. Like even though like you consider yourself a Marvel fan, you probably would never read a Marvel comic.
Not usually. But here's the thing.
No, I know.
What defines a fan?
I know,
it's a good question.
I know, exactly.
It's. I think there is a mindset.
I mean, like, you could easily just say, like, all right, fine, I'm an MCU fan. Because that does...
Well, I could also just say Marvel, because here's the thing. The only people that care what type of fandom you are the ones that want to be the OG hipster fans first and are gatekeeping it. So, like, your Pokemon question. Oh, you beat every game. You've seen every episode. No, I haven't. But it controlled my childhood. I have 3 giant duffel bags of just merch sitting in my closet. I have thousands of Pokemon cards. I did the Pokemon Trading Card Game League. I watched it every day for school. Like, at whatever level I was like, I'm a hardcore fan. Look at me, little Jason. I was. Like, it was my childhood, even if it wasn't the same Pokemon experience that you had with your childhood with Pokemon, or that little Timmy, I remember his name this time, our fictional kid may have now with Pokemon in the modern day. Like, it's different, but, like, it's how, I feel like fandom, to me at least, is how it relates to you.
Fandom is scary.
Fandom, in the positive sense, should be how it relates to you as an individual. Fandom in the negative sense is all that gatekeeping stuff. And the idea that, like, you're not a true fan unless you do this or unless you do that. Like, I could be a Marvel fan and I know the ins and outs of the movies and I just don't care about the comic books. And, like, someone on the other end of this recording is probably like, that's not a Marvel fan, but why not? I'm well versed and invested in this slice of Marvel and I'm a fan of it. Thus, by definition, I'm a fan of Marvel. So it's just how people want to interpret it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
like, but to the Pokemon thing, like, because I was saying, like, for me, my childhood, like, this is the first time movies really been like, oh my god, this is my movie, like, it's my thing on the big screen. But you've gone through this a few times. Transformers did it, Ninja Turtles did it. Like, how do you feel when you've had it happen? When you see your beloved thing suddenly on a big screen and being different, maybe, than what you were used to it being, be it a cartoon, a comic, a toy, whatever it may be. What was that like for you? Because I'm just curious. Because now I've lived through it. Now I kind of get it. You know what I mean? Like, were you happy? Were you disappointed? Was it like you were able to gloss over problems with it because you're like, oh well, I understand what they're doing?
It's kind of weird. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
I mean, it's like all over the place. Like, for example, like the Bumblebee Transformers. Like, even though the recent Bumblebee movie, like, even though it was only there for like a few seconds, like the brief appearance of Soundwave as he looked in the G1 cartoon, even though I wasn't around for that cartoon,
right?
Like, I did eventually get like obsessed with it, like around college, and collected like every Soundwave. Like, I just became a huge Soundwave and G1 fan. Yeah. And when I finally got to see him in his like high res redesigned but homage glory, like it was pretty indescribable. Like, I think I even shed a tear.
Okay, I didn't do that for Deck Picture. I did have the goofiest smile for like the first 10 minutes. Like,
I mean, even just
I literally couldn't stop
like pretty much like everything in that, like, when it was set in Cybertron, it was just like, wow, this is like exactly what I've always wanted. Yeah. It's just like pretty much bliss. Like, it's like it was almost like indescribable.
It was like a payoff that you didn't know you'd ever get.
And that's like for Transformers, like I would say, like, still want something I really, really care about, but it's probably on the bottom rung of things that I really, really care about. Right. So like Pokemon is definitely, I don't know, maybe like number 2 or 3.
What's number 1?
Well, number 1 is Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so I figured. Yeah. Just for the listeners at home.
Yeah, Pokemon, I don't know, probably be number 3, because I think 2 have to be something like Disney related. Because what I love about Disney is that without even having like a string of sequels, or without even having an established franchise, like a lot of their movies can still get like this emotional response from me, even though I'm meeting a lot of these characters for this first time, and there's like nothing else.
Just like, the atmosphere of it all.
Just really good stories, really good character development. It's like those will still have me shedding tears sometimes. But yeah, after that, it'd probably be Pokemon. So I would imagine, I don't know if there's any Sneasels or Well, I know there's a Sneasel, but I don't know if it's in Chantos, but
there's not that I saw.
Yeah,
spoiler.
So much for no spoilers,
Spoiler.
Jason.
Well, what? Spoiler, the thing you want to see won't be there and you'll be disappointed. I feel like that's not a spoiler.
Well, yeah, that is.
Okay, fine. Sorry. I won't say anything more about the individual Pokemon.
But I mean, like, on the Ninja Turtle side, I was too young to really watch the first two movies in theaters. I saw them on VHS.
Yeah, because those came out in, like, what, 91?
Yeah.
So you were, like, 2?
I mean, even if I did, I wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
And the more recent Ninja Turtle movies, I don't know, like, I mean, we're kind of good at just, like, discerning quality from the first few titles. You could almost tell, like, all right, that movie's going to be, at the very least, good. Like, when we saw the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer, like, the first one, like, without even knowing anything, you know, like, all right, this is going to be at least good.
Yeah.
All the Ninja Turtle movies after the second one, like, literally the second one out of 1, 2, 3, 5, out of the 6, like, haven't really been that great in theater. Yeah, like the fourth one was I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really what I wanted from an all CG Ninja Turtle movie. There was one scene in it that I thought was like, oh my god, this is like amazing. Why didn't the whole movie do this? But like the Nickelodeon ones with the Michael Bay attached to them, he didn't direct. He was produced. People just call them the Bay Turtles.
He exec produced it.
Yeah.
It was his team.
Yeah, it's like when like we saw the trailers for those, like my brother and I were kind of like, all right, like it's not really what we want. We're gonna watch it. We'll enjoy it, but it's not like, no sound wave moment.
I think you sort of touched on it indirectly by saying Detective Pikachu looked good, and like there's like the sound wave moment. I think it boils down to, and this is what I really appreciate about Detective Pikachu. I think it boils down to if it's a passion project of the people involved. Is it a cash in, or are they actually like wanting to do right by the franchise?
Yeah, like if I was a big Spider-Man fan, I would have probably shed way more tears on
Spider-Verse, yeah.
And even without that, like I still shed a tear because it was just amazing.
Right, and you can tell. So the biggest takeaway I have with Detective Pikachu is you can tell like 100% this was a passion project, like through and through. I mean, I was actually just reading on Vulture before I came over here a story. It kind of chronicles how the movie came to be, and what's interesting is apparently the producers tried for 7 years to make this thing happen, and it was all sparked by a specific producer named what was his name? I thought I wrote it down. Cale Boyder. There it is. And he used to play the Pokemon trading card game with his kids, his elementary school age kids, and was like, this would be cool to do a movie, and just started cold calling the Pokemon company and being like, hey, I'd love to do a movie. Like, I'm actually into this. Like, it's not just like I want to do this. And they kept saying no, because like, who's this random dude in LA that wants to make a movie? And they kept trying this for years, and then he ended up working at Legendary with a couple other producers. And Legendary, you may not know, those listening, I'm pretty sure you know, Angel, is the company behind the new Godzilla movies. The one
what?
I know, the one in 2014 and the one now.
And you mean the company that's been known for like giant monsters, like Godzilla,
they're also known for
King
the Dark Knight
Kong
trilogy. Yeah, but not everyone follows us that closely. So I'm just trying to set that. But yeah, so Legendary does that. He now works at Legendary. Legendary works with Toho on Godzilla. Toho, coincidentally, is the Japanese animated Pokemon movie distributor.
Godzilla.
Yes. So they, so he got Toho to vouch for him and his production team, and he finally secured a meeting with the Pokemon company. This is in 2016, and he goes. So he's been trying since like 2012, right? And in 2016, he finally gets through, and they go, they meet, they pitch their movie, and then the Pokemon company apparently goes, actually, we have a different idea. Sign this NDA. Okay, cool. See this game Detective Pikachu we're making? It's not out yet. Do a movie of this. That's the only way we'll let you do it. And he's like, hey, it's still Pokemon. I'm still into it. And they made it work. But yeah, it was all because this one guy played the cards with his kid, and it's like, I really want this to become a thing, and just was so annoyingly persistent.
The shame that wasn't the case with Sonic.
I know. Well, we'll get to Sonic after Detective Pikachu. I want to start on a positive note, and then we can dip down and come back up. But yeah, the thing about Detective Pikachu is, like, now that I've seen it, and I kind of alluded to this with the trailers. I think you noticed it with the trailers too, Angel. But, like, you can tell that people cared about it all along the way. Like, sure, you know, there's little things where they could say, like, oh, yeah, we filmed on 35mm film to capture that film noir vibe. And it's like, that's great. Okay. You could just say you did that. But, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a minor thing.
Wow, Jason.
No, but I mean, like, any movie could be like, oh, yeah, we want to capture a film noir vibe, so we did it. Like, that's not a passion thing. But what is a passion thing, what truly shines through, is how much attention to detail they gave to the world in Detective Pikachu. Like, they're even in the, like, first part of the movie, especially early on, there are all these lingering shots. They just kind of pan around the world. They're following flying Pokemon. They sort of just give you a sense of how, like, majestic Rhyme City looks, and it's really just
majestic?
extremely, yeah, It's really just extremely well done world building. It's majestic. Yeah, it's my favorite part of the movie, like hands down. The world, the living, breathing Pokemon world, is just so
Majestic.
cool and majestic. Like the environments are great, the Pokemon are great, the Pokemon in the environments interacting with the environments are great. Like it's great. It's exactly what.
But not majestic. Just great.
No, I think I triggered you into saying majestic initially. I think I said
yeah, because I made it sound like so amazing, but then you just kind of downgraded to great.
No. I'm saying that the shots of the city, they do all these like panning up at the skyscrapers where it looks like this big majestic crazy city. Yeah,
great.
Great. Yeah, it's great and majestic and super. But no, it's exactly like what I envisioned a living, breathing Pokemon world would be when I first became a fan. Like, back when I was 9 years old, 1998, Pokemon Red and Blue come out. Playing the game, I was like, this is what I kind of envisioned.
When you were listening to the song, We All Live in a Pokemon World?
Yeah. This was my Pokemon world that I thought we could all live in. But it was just really... It like perfectly captures the idea of what like a Pokemon world with humans and Pokemon being side by side would be. And what's cool is with Rhyme City, it's like even more so than maybe I would have imagined, because as anyone who played the 3DS Detective Pikachu knows, and this is a key part of the plot in the movie as well, no spoilers, it's just the setting, but the idea behind Rhyme City is that unlike other parts of the Pokemon world, it's not about capturing and battling and training. It's about working together, Pokemon and humans side by side in the world. And I know it sounds like I'm a cheesy log line of a movie right now, but like they really do a good job of showing that. Like early in the movie,
so PETA can't do nothing.
No, really. I mean, there's a fight scene, like an underground fight scene. It's in the trailer. But it's unsanctioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So PETA, they can't do anything.
It's
and
PETA approved.
Also, Pokemon aren't real PETA, so there's that. But no, but like early in the movie, there's this really brief.
I think they get those memos, but they just eat them.
They just they change the P in their name to Pokemon, even though it doesn't make sense because it's the A that needs to change. They changed the P.
So I can't believe they made a whole game based around the fact that Mario had the Tanuki.
Like he skinned a squirril alive or a raccoon alive.
A leaf.
Yeah,
but
But they're saying, why is he wearing fur? But it's not fur, it's leaf.
Yeah.
Leafy fur, leaf hair. But, the thing I was going to say is, like, they do a really good job of showing the world. And early on in the movie, not really a spoiler, don't worry, but they show this little informational video that plays to Tim, the main character in the movie, explaining a Rhyme City and how it is. And there's always cool little clips of, like, the Pokemon and the trainers side by side. Like, there's Squirtles helping firefighters put out fire. And I'm like, oh, that's neat.
Wait, is this the same movie that I saw? Because the movie I saw just had Pikachu dancing for
the 2-hour leak? So I watched all of that. And it was weird how little it lined up.
I mean, it was a great movie, like 10 out of 10.
Right?
But...
Yeah, how great.
But that was advertised as Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Well, it wasn't advertised, it was leaked.
As Detective Pikachu.
Quote unquote. How great of a marketing move was that, by the way? That thing was everywhere. It was numbered like 2 on trending today on YouTube.
I mean, of all the franchises that I feel don't have to market that hard, I'm surprised they marketed this hard.
It's because they had Ryan Reynolds, and his Deadpool marketing is so good that they basically did a kid version of it.
But is it true that I've been hearing that it's not doing so hot as people had hoped, or is that just unfounded?
Well, you're up against Avengers. They originally were estimating 80 million based on, rough
it's also
early...
Pokemon, though, but it's also...
Here's the deal. It made 50 million... It's on track as of this recording. It's projected to make 57 million this weekend. On Friday, it made 20 million versus Avengers 18 million. So it did better. This is all U.S. numbers. So it did better on Friday here in the States than Avengers. And on Thursday night, opening preview night, the night I went, it made something like, I think I have the numbers. It made something like 5 million, around there, I want to say. And that's more than Spider-Verse made its opening night. That's more than How to Train Your Dragon made its opening night. That's more than Batman made its opening night. So it's like doing better than similar caliber movies.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way this movie could do bad. Because,
no.
I mean, since I work at the elementary school, I've been kind of like surveying kids. It's like, oh, who's going to watch it? Who cares about this movie? Even the kids that I know aren't really that into Pokemon.
Yeah.
But everyone wants to watch it, but not everyone could watch it Thursday night because
exactly.
They have school.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone at my screening, I went at a 9 p.m. screening. It was 2/3 full, and it was all dudes over 20, and girls. To be fair, it's men and women. But it was
Don't you also mean dudes over 30?
Well, technically, if you're over 30, you're over 20.
I know, yeah.
Also, yes, I am 30 now. Thank you for sharing with the class. But no, I found the numbers. 5.7 million on Friday. So Spider-Verse, by comparison, made 3.5 million. How to Train Your Dragon made 3 million. Lego Batman made 2.2 on their opening nights. So there's a little perspective for you. But where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the world building. Yeah, it was cool. And they had a Squirtle squad. Not the Squirtle squad, but a Squirtle squad. A squad of Squirtles without sunglasses fighting fires. But, fun. Actually, one last thought about that video. Fun Ram Nintendo fact for you. Remember when we interviewed the Breath of the Wild voice actor who plays Rivali, Sean Chiplock?
Yeah, Sean
he
Chiplock.
has 2 voiceovers in Detective Pikachu.
Oh.
He plays a voice that introduces the video I was describing, and he also plays a battle arena voice during the fight scene, you know, the underground battle scene. Who knew? I mean, he knew, but who else knew? Well, now everyone, because it's known. But who knew prior to that? So yeah, kind of a weird little random town connection to the movie is that the dude we interviewed is in it.
Yeah, speaking of voice actors, just a really quick side anecdote.
Yeah.
So I learned recently that Charles Martinet had an uncredited role in an Xbox exclusive game. I think it's called
Really?
Wild Run. It's pretty much like Mario Kart, but without the
Mario
cart.
or kart?
You're just running, and it's like the characters, and you know, it's like I think it was rated. It's rated T or rated M or something. But essentially, Charles Martinet plays like a dinosaur. That it's essentially just the Mario voice, but he's like raunchy.
Really? So it's like they conquer bad fur dayed Mario, but made him a dinosaur? Because Mario does become a dinosaur in Odyssey, briefly.
But he's basically doing the Mario voice. I'm all like, oh, I wonder if that's why he is uncredited. Maybe
he's uncredited.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's like pretty obvious. Like, oh, that's clearly Charles Martinet.
Interesting. I'm trying to find what the game is.
Did you find the Wild?
It's not called Wild Run.
Something Run, but I'll find it later.
Yeah, no, I'm really curious.
No, I know exactly where to look. Just
okay.
Go back to what you were talking
anyway, so I was talking about Detective Pikachu, which is like my life's calling at this point. But yeah, so what I was saying is the world's really well done is the takeaway. There is one small fault I can find with the world, like just to be fair. If there is a problem with it, it may be the variety of Pokemon. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Pokemon. There are over 60 Pokemon. They span multiple generations. They have roles big and small. There's some that are just in the background. It's all super cool. And what I particularly enjoyed is that they didn't spoil all the Pokemon in the movie in the marketing. So there are some in there that were not publicly shown whatsoever before the movie came out, which made them, just that much cooler to see for the first time. Like, oh my god, it's insert Pokemon here. I will not spoil it for you. But even with that many Pokemon, like even with 60, it was hard not to notice the same Pokemon assets being kind of reused throughout the movie. Like in big crowd scenes, it'd be like, oh, there's this huge crowd scene. There's all these different Pokemon, except why is like there 3 clusters of the same one all talking to one another? Like I get the same species would like kind of chat or hang out together, but like, are there really that many like Sneasels in Rhyme City? Like,
are you tired of seeing Pangoros or something?
No, like it was just like it's the most minor of nitpicks, and I get it. Like, there's only so many animation rigs they can make while staying in budget. So I'm not really faulting them for it, but it's just something I noticed. So I'm kind of like, all right, this is super cool, but like there's an awful lot of these specific Pokemon over and over. But anyway, once I got over that whole world building thing, which to be fair was basically never, like it kept being awesome. I had a very hard time not just smiling all the way through, but once I was able to stop like grinning like a goofball, it was also nice to appreciate like the more subtle stuff they threw in for fans. There are Easter eggs, there are little nods, there's music cues, all the stuff that really just hammers home like, yep, this is Pokemon, this really is Pokemon. And also in particular, without saying anything about it, the end credits are incredibly well done. They're perhaps the best evidence of how smart Pokemon Company is for being like a whole vertically integrated company that handles all aspects of Pokemon. When you see the movie, you'll get what I mean, but I just like, that is really slick. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really dug the world of Detective Pikachu and what it establishes and how it lives and breathes and everything. But of course, there's also the rest of the movie, right? Like the actual meat and potatoes of it, and it really is a new generation, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It it has humor that's surprisingly adult at times. It follows the beats of a film noir detective story. Actually, it kind of follows those beats at a very fast rate. It moves very quickly. And there are a good number of twists along the way, some of which are a bit predictable, some of which are very predictable. There's one that completely caught me off guard, and I think when everyone sees it or has seen it, they know exactly which twist I'm talking about. But that was a good one. But I think plot-wise, like without giving anything away, it was pretty good. It was fun to watch, but there are 2 potential downfalls to it. One is that at times the movie just has things happen because. Like, they don't really, like, there's no real explanation. It's just, oh, hey, so this thing occurred because, yeah, that's what happens, and you're just going to have to accept that. So it's like, oh, okay. But I feel like that's particularly true for folks who maybe aren't as familiar with Pokemon. Like, this movie is definitely made for Pokemon fans first, which, is great for anyone listening right now, and for me, and for you, Angel, But there are moments in the movie when, looking back, I do wonder if perhaps people who aren't so tuned into the ways of Pokemon or the Pokemon world, like, how confused are they by some of the stuff going on? Because they don't fully explain everything. And then even then, as someone who's well-versed in Pokemon, who played Detective Pikachu on 3DS, who knows the story of the 3DS game, like, the movie does borrow some overarching plots from it, plot points, but there's still a moment or two where I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's how this works here. I guess that's, sure, all right, okay. And not even, like, because it contradicts the game. It does its own thing. I just mean, like, even in the world it's established, it's like, oh, that can happen? Sure. All right, with no real rhyme or reason of why it does. No real rhyme city, if you will. But
wow.
Yeah, but to be clear, these don't detract from the movie very much. Like, it's kind of like what I was saying about the Pokemon repeating. Like, it's a small nitpick, but did not all hurt any overall enjoyment of the movie. And honestly, most of it is great. Like, there's some genuinely funny moments. What's really nice is that while there's a decent amount of overlap between what we saw in the trailers and what's in the movie, a lot of it is still a surprise. The Mr. Mime interrogation scene in particular goes beyond what they publicly showed, and probably the best part of it is after what we've seen. It's also kind of surprisingly dark. I was reading this GameSpot article actually about that scene, and just to give you an idea of how dark and weird it gets without spoiling it.
Well, you're spoiled by telling us it gets dark.
Well, but you don't know.
Kind of just don't really want to watch it anymore. Just ruined
really?
the movie for me.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, really, you're not gonna watch it. You don't even know what dark means in relation to the rest of the movie. But I mean, I could mean it's a Game of Thrones. That's literally just hard to see. It could just be the battle. You don't even know. But all I was gonna say is apparently, just to give you an idea, when they pitched it to the Pokemon Company, the scene, without saying what the scene is, they photoshopped Mr. Mime's head onto the body of Kevin Spacey in a still from a hard R-rated serial killer movie by David Fincher called Seven, and they're like, this is kind of what we want to do. And it doesn't do it shot for shot, just the vibe. And the Pokemon Company's like, sure, and let them do it. So that's how crazy it is. But yeah, it's I won't say much more than that because you're right. That could be interpreted as a spoiler, but it is a really good movie. You know what's funny about Mr. Mime?
I mean, I'm just expecting, all right, when are they going to take the dark turn? Instead of being completely surprised by it.
Sorry. Well, I was going to say...
I'm just kidding. I don't care, but I know...
Someone might.
I mean, spoilers mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
I mean, to some people, just saying, I don't know, even the movie was good.
There's a gamble of anyone that's listening to this not having seen the movie, not wanting to know anything.
Yeah, like
saying it's spoiler free. There's still a gamble of what if he's summarizing.
I mean, I'll watch trailers, but like there are also some people that literally just want to know the movie exists, and that's it because they just want to watch it.
Hopefully they're not listening to this then, because I already that's on them at that point. But
oh yeah, because I mean we did make it clear we were going to at least talk about it.
Yeah. So fine. Here's a happier thought about Mr. Mime. How about that? Well, and it's not dark. It's not about the movie specifically. Did you know no one knows what Mr. Mime is? So apparently, when they were trying... No. What I mean is, like, when they were trying to bring Mr. Mime to life, the movie people went to the Pokemon Company, and they're like, hey, what is he? What's his inspiration? Like, what's his what creature is he like? What's he made of? What's any of that? And the Pokemon Company, the people that made Mr. Mime, their answer was, we don't know. So, there you go. Mr. Mime's an enigma to everyone. But anyway, I think I'll stop rambling.
I'm pretty sure that goes beyond Mr. Mime at that point and like to any of the humanoid-looking ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you're probably right.
What's the one I'm thinking of? I mean, I know the one I'm thinking of. Just missing. I'm just like messing up on the name. Besides Jinx, I'm thinking
of the one that wears the ninja robe thing.
The ninja robe.
There's a Pokemon that wears like not a ninja robe, but it's wearing like a robe.
You mean Sock and Throw, the karate gi people?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Gothitelle.
Oh well, I hope you remember somehow.
Because like she literally just looks like a goth girl without a nose.
Here's another fun fact.
Well, I mean, besides the Gardevoir and all that stuff.
Here's another fun fact that I learned when reading all these interviews and stuff after the movie, because I'm totally obsessed with this movie. If no one can tell, Machamp. When they were rendering Machamp, they were told by the Pokemon Company, remember, his spandex and belt are not spandex and belt. It is flesh because it is part of his body. So just think about that when you're watching the movie or any Pokemon media ever. And that applies to the ninja guys too, the ones you just said.
Well, Sock and Throw,
because they're wearing what look like robes with have belts, but nope, that is hanging skin.
No, they've said in the Pokédex that those are like it's bark and something that they've created.
Oh, okay. Well, Machamp is flesh.
I mean, I'm guessing that's what it'd be for Hitmonchan, because when he evolves, I mean, that gi, I guess it's just part of his skin that looks like.
Which is really, I'm glad they didn't put those in there. That'd be weird. But anyway, like I started to say, I'm gonna stop rambling about Detective Pikachu because I could go on for forever. But I will say this, just to kind of wrap it up. As far as I'm concerned, I think this is the single best video game adaptation that's ever been made. They nailed the world, they nailed the atmosphere, the humor mostly hits, the story moves at a good clip and keeps things interesting. It is, as Pikachu says, very twisty. Even if some of the twists are a little predictable. And nitpicks aside about like some of the individual plot points or some of the repeated Pokemon, like it's a very fun movie. So if you're a Pokemon fan whatsoever, and if you're here with us, I think you probably are. But if you're a Pokemon fan whatsoever, go see it. You're in for a treat. You're not gonna have Citizen Kane. You're not gonna have it's not Blade Runner, but it's very good and fun and just it's super cool to see.
I mean, that seems to be like the I don't know. I guess the magic formula. Like, if you're gonna adapt something, just create an original story most of the time. Yeah. Because I mean, that's kind of what helped Wreck-It Ralph. I mean, when the first one came out, that for a long time was considered the best video game movie up to that point because it wasn't about a specific video game property. It was just about video games in general.
I think there's two parts to that. I think, yes, you need to create an original story, and I think you need to do it in the world that is established by the thing you're inspired by. Yeah. Case in point, Sonic. Because on the other side of the spectrum from Detective Pikachu is the Sonic movie, and the trailer came out.
Like, why doesn't anyone try to do it in Mobius?
And Mobius.
That's where Sonic's from.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The other planet. Yeah. Even though it's sort of not really a planet, but kind of is a planet.
What do you mean?
Somewhere I read some Sonic fan was going on a whole tear online about how they're treating Sonic like he's an alien in the movie, but he's not actually an alien. It's like some other thing, like a time dimension.
By dimension, he's an alien.
I guess.
But, I mean, yeah, he's from another planet. I mean, aliens are from planets. They don't just...
probably shouldn't listen to the raving Sonic fan on Twitter. Just a thought.
I mean, I'm sure even, like, the UFO aliens that everyone associates as, people from space, like, they have to come from some kind of planet. At this point, they're just, what's the word? Not Voyagers.
Travelers?
Those people that pretty much don't have a home.
Nomads.
Like, I mean, I guess they're just nomads to some people.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about alien is it literally just means something foreign, so it doesn't have to be from space.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'll take back that comment. But, that movie, the point I was going to make, like, saying how it needs to be
now, when people were saying that Ninja Turtles, when they were trying to make them aliens...
that was dumb, because there's an actual origin story of radiation ooze and stuff. Yeah,
that takes away literally a lot of the, the origin, like, the intrigue.
They're not mutants if they're from space. Yeah. You have to mutate to be a mutant.
I mean, they could change how they got mutated, but I mean, it's in the name. It's in the name.
Literally, they are mutants. But no, what I was going to say about Sonic, to your point about it needs to have an original story, and then I was piggybacking with it needs to be set in its own world, is like, I honestly think the biggest problem with that trailer, and we could talk all about the design and all about his teeth in a second here. Why does he have human teeth? But I think the biggest problem is that they did the whole stupid fish out of water story instead of building a movie inside Sonic's world. Like, it's too much like Smurfs or Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like, even the Mario movie knew to do it right. Like, the Mario movie, they do fish out of water, but it's in reverse. They send people from Earth into the Mario Mushroom Kingdom. That makes more sense. So, when I went back and watched the Sonic trailer after I saw Detective Pikachu, and I was like, you know what? Hold on. Let me pretend here. The blue thing is now a yellow thing named Pikachu. Robotnik is now Team Rocket. How dumb is this movie still? And I was like, oh god, if they made a Pikachu movie there's a loose Pikachu blowing things up with his electricity, they're sending in Team Rocket, not realizing they're evil, to help squash it from the government. Like, that would be a horrible movie.
So is the government.
So, like, that's the problem. It's like, it's
Pokemon
just not
are coming in from these portals from another dimension.
Exactly.
Let's get the U.S. military involved. Oh,
we should recruit Team Rocket.
Yeah, we have our expert. Oh no,
Giovanni.
You don't mean Giovanni.
Yeah, exactly. And then he comes in and he's Jim Carrey doing a sort of weaker version of The Mask. Yeah, it's like it wouldn't work. And I think that's Sonic's problem. I think they have the Jim Carrey's no doubt like talent. He's a talent. They could do something with that easily. And Ben Schwartz is a great voice actor, and he plays Sonic, and they could do something with that. And they nailed, at least to me, Sonic's tone. Like, him when he was talking, stuff felt like Sonic, like his sarcasm and everything. But just the setting is what ruined it, and his design.
Eggman is a very goofy character too, so I mean,
it works. I think it's fine. It's just the setting and the setup is what doesn't work. That and the design. So I'm curious, because you're more in the Sonic world than me, I would say. What was your takeaway with the trailer? Because I've seen it now, small screen and on the movie screen.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. Before the trailer came out, like, we knew Sega wasn't really involved in it. It was just more like they licensed it off, and they're like, all right, we wash our hands of it. So pretty much as soon as like that was like made official, or we knew that, like, I kind of didn't really care like what this movie could do. it's just like the only Sonic movie I'm gonna care or be critical about is the one made or with Sega's involvement. Kind of like the Mario movie coming out later from Illumination, where Miyamoto's overseeing it. So
right,
like that one will be under more
that'll be
scrutiny.
much better.
But I mean, if it's like this, then I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
what's funny is
it just looks like your typical bad CG movie like Yogi or Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah,
or,
it's one of the fish out of water animal acting weird with humans. What's funny is the head of Sonic team actually put out a statement or was quoted as being like, hey, we have nothing to do with this. We advise them, but then they do what they want. Like, I'm funneling the feedback from you guys, but
yeah, even when the design got
sort
of revealed, they put out a comment like, yeah, we didn't really approve of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. But yeah, speaking of the design, we should talk about that because he has human teeth. Why does he have human teeth? He's a hedgehog. Why is he more human than a hedgehog?
That's the part that bothers me the least. But
I think it's part of bothers me because it makes no sense. It makes him look like it's a weird costume or something.
I mean, he has teeth. I mean, would it look better if they give him just one solid block? Because that's what he has.
Yeah, I think it might. Or like if they did pointy ones, like a hedgehog would have.
Because I mean,
or just no teeth, like Pikachu.
I mean,
just go no teeth.
The Sonic doesn't even really resemble an actual hedgehog.
I know, that's part of the problem. He looks like a man dressed as a hedgehog that somehow fell into the ooze from Ninja Turtles as now a mutated man-chog.
I mean,
it's weird.
They mess up by just not embracing the. I mean, Sonic already has odd proportions. He works in his cartoony world because he's a cartoon.
Yeah.
People expect Sonic, just make him look like Sonic. Even if he looks out of place, like he doesn't look like he fits in the world, at least he'll look like Sonic.
Yeah.
And people will at least be happy with that.
I think, honestly, the one time I was like, okay, he looks pretty good, is they did a zoom in on his eyes when he said, gotta go fast. I'm like, that's not bad. And then they
put looked great when he was in the spin dash.
Yeah, because you can't see him.
You can't mess up the blue
and
ball.
there's also the poster. They put out a new poster where it's him running through some Robotnik's robots, and I thought that poster actually looks kind of cool. Like, mostly because of the robots. The robots look better than Sonic, but... Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I mean,
they embrace the one eyeball.
They should. I think it's also kind of crazy
that would be a statement because they're like, you know what, we're really define the logic here. He just has one giant eyeball, two pupils, as he should have.
He's an alien, apparently, as we've established, so it's not weird anymore. They can do whatever they want.
I mean, the fact is he's just not a real creature. So like, who cares how realistic he looks? I don't know what executive wanted him to be like. Nope. His legs don't look like he could run that fast because they look like noodles. Like, give him more girth. I don't know.
Beef him up. Have him go through leg day a few extra times.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
like,
it's crazy to me that
our belief is already suspended when you have Sonic there. So why bring him down?
Yeah, it's strange. The thing I think is the craziest of it all is like the feedback was so strong.
Literally,
that Paramount's actually
Detective Pikachu thing, like they embraced it.
Yeah.
So,
and then they made him dance for 2 hours, and it made my week.
I mean, sure, it made some Pokemon look creepy, but you can't deny that. Like, well, they still followed the model. Like, I mean,
also
they look creepy because they're kind of meant to be creepy.
Also, I know Jigglypuff got a lot of flack. There are scenes in the movie where Jigglypuff, she's only in a few, but looks adorable. I mean, like it's just Jigglypuff looks great.
I mean, she looks like fuzzier than I would imagine, but I wouldn't say it looks bad. I mean, it's like Pikachu itself, like. It doesn't. Whenever you see it, like on the seat, like in Smash Brothers, and then you zoom in on Pikachu, it just looks like one
blob,
rubbery. Like there's like no indication of fur like other characters have.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does Pikachu? Does he have like a matte finish? Like I kind of like.
he's like an aftermarket car. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like the the Pikachu we have now that looks like very fuzzy and very.
He looks very huggable.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, there's some like Psyduck is great in the movie. He's in the trailers. I'm not spoiling anything. But no, Sonic, the thing that blows my mind about Sonic is the feedback was so strong and so swift that they actually are redesigning him, which is insane given that the movie's out in like 5 months. Like, I mean, what's the process for something like that? Do you think? Because you do animation.
It takes a while because like they'll definitely have to redo a lot of the mocap because if they're gonna, depending on how drastic the redesign is, like. They're either going to have to work within the limits of the current model and everything will have to stay in those proportions, just look a little different, or they're going to have to create a completely different skeleton and pretty much redo a lot of those
I'm going to
shots.
guess they're just going to tweak because they only have 5 months.
Yeah, like unless because they didn't announce that they're going to delay the movie.
No.
But they also didn't say they were.
They're also still screening the trailer with the wrong design. Like, I saw it before Detective Pikachu. And his teeth are worse on the big screen. But I saw it before Detective Pikachu, and I was just like, huh. They're really just... I mean, it makes sense to pair them, but
Yeah, so
the contrast between them is amazing, though. In terms of the difference.
The only thing I could hope is that some of the designers from the get-go knew this was like a bad idea and had done some concepts. They're like, all right, this is kind of how we would have liked to make them, and maybe even started on that. Maybe they did some tests with a more accurate design, and they just kind of progressively made them worse and worse until they're like perfect.
Or till the execs were like perfect.
Yeah. So maybe they could just go back to one of those. I mean, that would be ideal, because otherwise they're just a subsect of these animators and mocap artists are just going to be on super horrible crunch, and it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
So
as if crunch wasn't bad enough in the game industry, just wait till you have a movie starring a game character who needs to be redesigned from the ground up in 5 months.
Usually movie industry is a lot better about crunch, but...
Because they're more established in terms of unions and everything, somewhat.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's just... Well, hopefully the design helps, but the problem for me, besides the like fish out of water plot, is like the trailer felt like someone made a list of every video game movie complaint and then accidentally put it in the to-do folder instead of the do not folder. Like, I don't know. Like, the song choice is kind of weird. Shoving Sonic in the real world's kind of weird. The design of Sonic, honestly, it felt like they kind of Poochied the whole thing. Like, remember Poochie from The Simpsons, the Itchy and Scratchy episode where they make the cool new character?
What? Who's Poochie?
You must know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was more setting up for people listening who may not. But,
I keep forgetting that, honestly, sometimes. Like,
and he has to go back to his home planet, which coincidentally Sonic has a home planet too. No, but like Sonic himself is fine, but the whole trailer just had this vibe of like, oh, we have to be cool and 90s cool because like Sonic. So like Gangsta's Paradise, yeah, that was a big rap song the year Sonic 1 came out, I guess, maybe, or around then, but it just felt really out of place here. Like some of the stuff felt like on character, but like I don't know, the whole thing just felt a little too much like Tood, you know what I mean? Like, even things like when he was, like, drumming on the missiles, when he was doing his little Quicksilver and X-Men moment, slow-mo running through the missiles, I was just like, that feels a bit much. But
really?
I don't know. That one wasn't as bad as Gangsta's Paradise. But I just think it's, the vibe just felt, of the whole thing was just like, this is interesting. But the thing I found
so safe to assume I can't expect you to be watching it?
I'll probably watch it just to watch the train wreck. But I think the funny thing is, like, if you were to have asked a kid in 1995, let's say, which movie would be gritty and which movie would be overly kiddie, Mario or Sonic, I'm pretty sure they would have gotten it backwards. I think they would have been like, oh, the Mario movie is what Sonic is, and Sonic should have been what the Mario movie in 1993 was. Like, that feels more like what they actually should have been, but somehow here we are, and they're reversed, which is kind of weird.
Look at that.
Yeah. There are 3 things I think they got right, to be fair. Replacing the stars of the Paramount logo with rings was a nice touch, and I did actually like the at the end of the trailer, the joke about the is that a kid in your bag? No, not my kid, or whatever. I was like, okay, that's actually kind of funny. And also, I have to give
child abduction is hilarious.
Yeah, sure is. I also had to give credit to the tagline. I mean, that's some Random Nintendo podcast level punnery. Every hero has a genesis. Like, if I knew I can make a career out of just our podcast titles, but like for movies, I'd be getting so much money right now. I mean, like, why stop there? Why not do like this hero has Mega Drive, or like what else? Featuring a dream cast, or 32 times the 32x the danger. I don't know, that one doesn't work as well. But like, I could do these puns all day. It's our podcast titles. So I appreciate the lame hero has a jet.
Saturn.
Yeah, he's from Saturn. There we go. There's another one. He's getting the gaming gear. Okay, that doesn't work. Game time, gear up, but gaming gear in all caps. I'm out of them. Anyway, yeah, any other thoughts about Sonic?
No, I guess that pretty much sums it up. I guess on to the next thing on the docket.
Well, it's funny, is the next thing, and I hate to circle back. I know I said it's done. I'm not. I do want to circle back for a second to Detective Pikachu. It's for a reason.
Awesome.
So, the way you said that, it's not. I'm not gonna go back into the movie, but we spent a lot of time talking about like the movies and what Pikachu does right, or what Sonic does wrong, or what have you. But the other half of this is there's the whole marketing machine surrounding them, right? You know, these are big like tentpole events. There's a lot of opportunity for the brands, and with Detective Pikachu, we were talking about how it did at the box office. That's a huge audience that's now tuned in to Detective Pikachu, and you would think that would be leveraged, right? Like, you would think, oh, there's gonna be a ton of merchandise, there's gonna be a ton of games, there's gonna be all these tie-ins. Nintendo, I feel like, is kind of squandering it. Like, I mean,
there's a lot of toys at Target.
That's Pokemon. I mean, like Nintendo themselves.
A lot of ugly Mewtwo's.
Yeah, a lot of weird, messed up Mewtwo faces.
Why couldn't they get the faces right?
It's so bizarre, especially because Pokemon companies usually really good about quality control like that.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna make the toy or at least a plush, like at that point you could just make it look like any other release of that toy at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Only a few actually have to look different, and that's like
exactly.
Jigglypuff and Pikachu somewhat, but because he needs a hat. But no, the thing I was thinking is more like Nintendo themselves are squandering it because like there's no big marketing push we're talking about around any Pokemon video game right now that Nintendo makes. Like the most they've done that I've seen is they've sent out a couple tweets like, "Hey, did you see Jigglypuff in the movie? She's also in hashtag Pokemon Let's Go for the hashtag Nintendo Switch," and that's their whole marketing. Like, why is there not a new ad campaign for Pokemon Let's Go or something? Like, at least, like...
Yeah, for a company that owns...
the franchise.
Yeah.
Like, I think the most surprising is they didn't
Isn't it just 49% or 50%?
They own... Well, so they own half of Pokemon Company, and I think Creature owns the other. Or they own somewhere between a third and half, but they own the IP.
Yeah, I knew it was, like, very close. I want to say it was, like, 49 and 51.
Something like that. But they the way the IP rev share and copyright works, they basically own it, even though they own half the company. But yeah, I think what's most surprising is never mind not having a marketing push for those games. How on earth did Nintendo not time any releases with the movie? Like, this would have been a great opportunity to do a Switch port.
A re-release of
Detective Pikachu. Yeah, do it in HD. Put it on Switch. I mean, there are so many people that never got the game on 3DS. There's a lot of people that didn't even know the game existed. The person I saw it with on Thursday, he's like, "Wait, it's based on a 3DS game?" I'm like, "Yes,
it's based on a 3DS game." What if they updated the game to look like the movie, make all the Pokemon look like that, and have Ryan Reynolds re-record the audio?
See, that could... I mean, I'm saying they could go low budget. Just literally copy-paste the 3DS game and then up-res the
change
models.
the skin tone of the main character. And then
and call it a day. Yeah, like, I can't believe they didn't do that. Especially because, like, the game's plot, while similar on a high level, is actually pretty different in terms of, like, individual beats and settings and scenes and whatnot. So, like, it could have made a great companion release. Like, it wouldn't be like you're playing the movie twice. It would have actually been somewhat same end goal, but, you know, different route to get there.
Even if you have to play the movie twice, they would harken back to those days when...
Yeah, exactly.
You would have, like, every movie would have a game tie.
Yeah, and it's so weird.
Whether it needed one or not.
It's so weird to me that they didn't do that, especially because it's not Nintendo's pumping out a bunch of Switch games at the moment. We have nothing in May from Nintendo. Yeah. I mean, April we had Labo, and we had Box Boy and Box Girl, but we have, like, nothing right now. It was a really weird swing and a miss. But not even a swing, just a miss. Like, at least the Pokemon Company kind of gets it. They have a number of Detective Pikachu things.
You missed all those swings you never took.
That's true, and they didn't take it, so they missed it. But yeah, like Pokemon Company, they if you play Pokemon Go, there's a Detective Pikachu that can photobomb you in snapshot mode, and all the Pokemon featured in the movie are everywhere. What?
Is Smeargle still doing it, or
no? It's now. Well, no, I think it's now Detective Pikachu. It's funny because I wanted to get Detective Pikachu, so all I did was just open screenshot mode, and just the first Pokemon I saw I put in, so it was Apom, and I just started hammering the photo button, and the Apom, I guess, rendered too close to me, so all I got was this perfect wallpaper that no one else can see but you. It's just purple with Pikachu in the corner. It's actually a really nice wallpaper, but it's supposed to be Apom's arm or his whole body, but whatever. But yeah, so they're doing that in Pokemon Go, and then they have the Pokemon trading card game. Besides giving you cards with the movie, there's a whole new line of cards themed around the movie, and they've teamed up with retailers like Target and Walmart. You can go on specific days to get extra cards from them for free at set times. And like the Pokemon Company even went as far as to announce plans for a new mobile game on the opening night of Detective Pikachu. They're actually teaming up with DNA, the guys who Nintendo works with, to make something. I mean, now on some level, this timing is totally circumstantial. Like, that's, you know, DNA announced it during their own financial briefing that just happened to be on Detective Pikachu opening night. But again, it's one of those things where, like, if you keep pumping out stuff about the brand at the time when the brand has peak interest, it's win-win for everybody. So it's weird that Nintendo even put out a new trailer for Sword and Shield or anything, but then we have, like, DNA announcing they're making a Pokemon mobile game, which I don't even know what that game could be, to be honest. Like, all they've officially said is it'll be out before March 2020. The long lead time makes me think it may be a bigger project, but I'm kind of curious, like, what that means, because if there's one thing about mobile Pokemon games I've noticed is that they're never what you think they would be. I mean, we have a puzzle game in Shuffle, we have a figurine battle game in Duel, we obviously have the first successful AR game with Go, and there's now even like an app called Pokemon Pass where you can just go to events like the trading card giveaways at stores and like check in with the app.
There's also that Pokemon Clubhouse.
There's Pokemon Clubhouse, which is like a kids mini game app. There's like the Pokedex app, I think that's the thing. So like I don't know what.
Oh, yeah, the Pokédex 3D is also on.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like know what they would be doing as a new game, but I don't think it's gonna be standard Pokemon. It's gonna be something different.
I mean, yeah, it'd probably be along the lines of like Magikarp Jump or something.
Yeah. And there's Magikarp Jump. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is I think Pokemon Ranger could be a good adaptation to mobile. Because Pokemon Ranger, you play with touch. It already kind of feels like Dragalia Lost a little, like gameplay wise. Just make it more RPG heavy,
more interactive. Yeah,
exactly. And then you can do that.
Yeah,
but
that's a good idea.
But I don't know, like, and plus it pairs well with Detective Pikachu because Detective Pikachu is all about bringing this idea of Pokemon live in harmony. They're not captured or trained. It's kind of, that's now the mainstream push for like this side of the Pokemon world. And Ranger was all about that and running parks with Pokemon and stuff. So like it kind of lines up. But yeah, I don't know. It's just anything else you'd want to see out of a Pokemon. Like if you could have a dream weird Pokemon experience, I don't even know what it would be. But this
weird Pokemon experience,
like a sort of not normal game.
Oh, I'm like, do you want me to get weird with it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Tell me about your deepest fantasies involving you and Clefairy.
Clefairy?
I don't know. I'm just picking
all the Pokemon
Chatot. I was trying to pick a big pink Pokemon.
No, I mean, I just want a Pokemon Battle Simulator,
but see, that almost seems too. But I don't know.
But
is that too normal, or is that now in line with the other stuff?
They can't really monetize that. That's not really
you can.
That's not really a game that if you tried to monetize that, it would make people just not want to use it because the whole point of
you just pay up front. It's a $5 flat fee. You pay up front. It's a paid game.
Well, not the way that they've been monetizing other stuff.
I know. I was being a little difficult.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like it's got to be something crazy if they need a year to make it.
Like literally, just Tamagotchi it. Pick like select few Pokemon.
That could work.
And literally just make a Tamagotchi or Gigapet out of it.
Or do like Pokepark if you
and they don't die, they just faint, and you have to start over with a new Pokemon or something.
So that could be cool.
Yeah, that would actually be. I could see people going like, "Oh man, I gotta feed my blank like today." And
yeah, it's basically an expanded version of the mode in the 3DS game.
And and the adventure thing is you're taking them on a walk if it's synced up, so you're walking with them, and all that transfers into currency, which you could then use to buy accessories, food, and toys.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. And it's
basically
Pokemon to me.
Yeah, Pokemon to me, but yeah.
That's a good idea. I like either that or Pokemon Ranger. I think are the two that they should do. But watch, they'll throw out curveballs.
They could literally just get all the assets they had from Pokemon to me and just pick a few, and then there you go. Like you could get more Pokemon with the gems or whatever, or you could just pay for them.
yeah. It's either gonna be one of these two ideas, or it's gonna be something toy out of left field, like I don't know, some sort of weird puzzle game where you have to split Ditto blobs up.
Oh, yeah, there was already Pokemon Trophy, so
yeah, and then we have Pokemon Shuffle on phones already. So, but yeah, so my point is, like, you've got Pokemon Company doing all this stuff. They have an app, they have promotions, and like I was saying, it just strikes me as so weird that Nintendo is just letting Detective Pikachu slide by because, like, right now people are so engaged with the brand, and you should leverage that. Like, as much as I hate to use the term seriously, but people are brand activated. I'm personally very activated right now by the brand of Pokemon, and like I can't. There's no video game thing for me to do. Like it's weird. I mean, like I'm so activated right now. That sounds really strange to say. Like, I'm so activated right now. I went to 7-Eleven and bought a Slurpee for the first time in years just because it was Mr. Mime themed. It was Mr. Mime's mystery flavor, and by the way, it's tropical-ish. It's like pina colada or coconut mixed with maybe like berry Skittles, which I think they're actually doing a contest where if you tweet or if you Instagram a picture of your Slurpee with the hashtag mystery Slurpee and say the 3 flavors, you could win a year of Slurpees. So if I'm correct, if it's tropical, like pina colada, coconut, berry, go ahead, someone, you drink the Slurpees, because while it was pretty good, there's no way I'm drinking a cup full of syrup every day for the rest of my life. So it's all yours. But my point here is, like, if I am doing this, I'm sure there's kids out there that would want to go buy a video game after seeing the movie, or even adults that would want to go buy a video game. Like, if people are buying Slurpees, missed opportunity to not do more than that, I guess is what I'm saying. And actually, side note, why is the Slurpee Mr. Mime themed? Like, what? It's weird. Like, it's the color.
Because at one point people maybe thought his hair looked like cotton candy, but then it turns out it was just a
Is that what material. It is? Because, like, the color of it is the color of what he would look like if you ground him up and made him a drink.
Would it be more sense if they picked Jigglypuff?
Yeah, and like, so
Pikachu.
It's like, so are you drinking, I guess it's true with any of these, but are you drinking the Pokemon? Is Mr. Mime the brewmaster, so to speak, of his Slurpee? Like, I don't quite, it's strange.
Obviously not Jason.
I know. And you know what's funny,
it's
though?
It's like when Yogurtland had the Nintendo flavors, like, oh, Why is chocolate Toad? Do Toads taste like chocolate?
Well, no, but they named it like Toad's Choco Blast or something. Like they put his name in front, so it was clearly not him inside it. But
I mean, unless that's just the scientific name of his like meat.
Maybe. Oh no! But what what's kind of funny is I wasn't the only one that had his thoughts. Polygon actually got 7-Eleven to issue a statement saying that the drink has no lore associated with it. Let me repeat that. A giant international corporation issued a statement at the behest of a video game journalism website to clarify that the drink is not, and I quote, made of or by Mr. Mime. That's a real thing that happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yeah, if all that can happen, I think Nintendo could probably pumped out a game and sold some copies. Just saying. But what's perhaps like more, or maybe even most puzzling to me, is like Nintendo's choosing to stay on arm's reach away from Detective Pikachu now, specifically at a time when the company is really doubling down on the goal of expanding IP. Like, that's literally their life motto now. Like, the last episode we were saying, we were talking about Nintendo's latest financial report for the fiscal year end, and in the time since, the Q&A transcript came out from that meeting. And in that Q&A, Shuntaru Furukawa, Nintendo's president, specifically talks about how important IP expansion is to the company, how it's now their main goal, how it's their bread and butter, however you want to word it. And yeah, like having Detective Pikachu as a movie out in the world can serve as a halo effect in and of itself. Like people will be like, oh, that's cool, Pokemon. I'm inspired to go, buy one of the existing games, or I'm hyped for Sword and Shield. I read up on it and I can't wait till the fall or whatever. But I just find it odd that Nintendo...
Oh, that is coming out this year.
It is, yeah. But I just find it odd that, like...
I completely forgot.
How's there no trailer for that right now?
I guess I am looking forward to a game this year.
There you go. But yeah, only one...
No, besides Predator. Predator. That's 2020.
Predator?
What? In the PlayStation Direct...
You mean State of Play?
In the PlayStation Direct.
State of Play.
In the PlayStation Direct, they announced an asymmetric Predator game where some people play as soldiers and someone who plays as
Now that you
Predator.
mentioned, I did hear about that. Yeah.
I'm just hoping it's more like Dead by Daylight, where you pick what you want to play as,
right,
and you actually
versus
do
random
that.
Assignment like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but if you just only have enough time for like a game or two, and you want to play as Jason, you have to hope you get Jason. I don't. I'm always Jason. I'm sorry. That's really lame. Let's just end this here. That was horrible. I'm so sorry. We'll see you guys now. But you're saying? Just go on.
What was I starting to say? Oh yeah, I find it strange that Nintendo they're like, we're all about IP expansion and didn't. Just kind of stop what I'm saying. But I think it's probably worth knowing that, like, because I was saying in the Q&A, they talk so much about IP expansion. To be fair to Nintendo, they were mostly talking about IP expansion in regards to their plans to go into China, which came up again and again and again in the Q&A. Remember last episode I was saying Nintendo didn't need to reveal a Switch Mini at their financial briefing because investors were way more interested in China?
I do remember you saying that.
Well, here's your proof, because there's not a single question in the Q&A about the hardware, but there are 4 questions about China.
Whoa!
So
look at that.
Yeah, and I mean,
Cleo over here.
I know, right? So let me read your palm and let you know. I don't know, but no, I get it. It does make sense. Like, China is a huge untapped market for Nintendo. But what I found kind of interesting is how, like, very, very cautious Nintendo's being about it. Like, they have gotten burned before. They used to have a company, I think they still do, called IQUE. It was a subsidiary of theirs in China. They sold weird variants of the N64, the DS, the 3DS. Didn't do that great. In the time since, they've already partnered up with NVIDIA, their Shield device that you can buy. In China, you can actually download Wii and GameCube games on it. And, like, some of the best ones.
It'd be nice if we could download GameCube games.
Well, here's the funny thing. So, you would think in China, whoa, you can download, like, classic Wii and GameCube games. That's awesome. You want to know what the number 1 selling game was of these downloads as of the start of April?
Pokemon Channel?
No, it was Mario Galaxy, which makes sense, right? But you want to know how much Mario Galaxy sold in all of China, where the NVIDIA Shield is available? 5,256 copies total.
Oh, wow.
Not good.
I think
Punch Out.
I've worked with more kids than that.
No, I don't think you have. Maybe you have.
5,000, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess because I'm used to small schools. Because I went to small schools.
Over the course of 8 years, I mean, there's at least like 1,000 kids at like 1,500 at the school I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last 5 years, like, we keep getting groups of like a couple hundred. Also worked at the high school. which
Okay, that makes
has
sense.
many thousands.
Yeah, and then fine. Here's a even lower
Public schools,
one.
man.
Here's a lower one that even I know. I've met this many people in my life through various means. Punch Out, Wii, great game. Sold 1,373 copies.
I thought you were gonna say something like 2.
No, but it's like a fifth of what Mario sold, and that fifth is still barely. It's like
That's about how many kids are at the school.
Yeah, it's like I see why Nintendo's being so cautious. Like they tried it with Nvidia, and granted, the Shield probably didn't sell a ton in China, but that's so low. Mario Galaxy sold like millions of copies on Wii, and it sold less than 5,000 on Nvidia Shield. It's crazy. And I mean, in the Q&A, like Furukawa did say part of the problem is or challenge with China is it's a very PC and mobile game heavy market that's hard to break into, and the Nvidia Shield and iQOO and all that are not PC or mobile, so that's probably part of the problem. Which is why they're partnering with Tencent. They're trying to address that issue. Like Tencent's the single biggest game company, and they run their own game marketplace. So if anyone can boost Nintendo up, even if it's still an uphill battle, it would probably be Tencent. And Furukawa really emphasized that even though they have government approval to sell the Switch and bring it over and everything, it could take years for Nintendo to like properly plan out a strategy and for that to materialize and for good numbers to come in as a result. But it's interesting, like from a business perspective, because, you know, huge untapped market for Nintendo, huge IP expansion opportunity. And the Tencent partnership's more interesting even for us outside of China because they make games we play. Like they already have the free-to-play Arena of Valor on Switch. And if Tencent's now investing in the platform more heavily, I don't see why they wouldn't leverage some of their other IPs or IPs of their subsidiaries. They own a ton of companies. They have investments in a ton of companies. They could easily sway some of the big publishers we see to bring more stuff to Switch if they think there's a benefit in China for themselves to have it on Switch. So it could conceivably be a really cool opportunity for us as fans outside of China. And, you know, maybe one of the games they bring over is PUBG. They make PUBG Mobile in China. Or actually, they don't anymore make PUBG Mobile. They made they had to replace PUBG Mobile. Do you hear this story? This is the weirdest thing about PUBG. So, basically, Tencent was denied a license by the Chinese government to collect revenue from PUBG. In part because of growing concerns about game addiction and violence that are permeating over in the Chinese culture. And by the Chinese culture, I specifically mean the government propaganda machine. So instead, what Tencent did is they swapped out PUBG for a carbon copy, super patriotic version of the game called Hepen Jing Ying, or Elite Force for Peace, in which you're helping protect China from terrorists by doing Battle Royale. And the best part of this game is that if you kill someone in the game, there is no blood. They do not die. They fall down. They literally wave goodbye to you, and then they hand you a loot crate.
Wow.
Every time someone dies. It's like the best thing ever. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. And whether they bring that to Switch, which I actually kind of want them to do, in all honesty, maybe without the overly super Chinese patriotism, but if they bring that to Switch, or perhaps PUBG itself, like, the partnership could be interesting for all of us. Like, it could be cool. And you know, it even could affect Nintendo's mobile lineup, because Furukawa, he wouldn't confirm any plans with Tencent on mobile games, you know, helping them with mobile games, but we've seen that Nintendo is now more happy to work with multiple companies on multiple projects. So you got DNA doing Mario Kart Tour, you've got NHS behind Dr. Mario World, you've got Cygames handling Dragalia Lost. So making Tencent be kind of another feather in the cap will for sure make investors happy for both companies. It'll be another game for fans to play. Like, it seems a good possibly entry point for China for IPs before they even bring the Switch. Like, it makes sense. So yeah, it's interesting that like Nintendo's like, yeah, IPs, and they're like China, and then Detective Pikachu's sitting there and they're like, but not you. So I don't know, but I really want to try that PUBG knockoff.
It sounds great.
It sounds so amazing. But yeah, besides just the China and IP stuff, there were a couple other comments in the Q&A that seemed somewhat noteworthy. One is that Furukawa reiterated again how Nintendo plans to introduce new incentives for Switch Online subscribers, which we kind of heard before. It's nothing new. But then, lo and behold, a few weeks later, the first signs of it came when we got a surprise DLC drop for Tetris 99 this past Thursday. And what's interesting, at least to me, is that this new big block DLC can be purchased without being a Switch Online member. So whether or not you're a paying subscriber, you can get this $10 download that gives you Tetris Marathon mode, an offline CPU battle mode. You know, you play against like 98 other bots, and there's a promise of additional new modes in the future too. In fact, data miners already found evidence that there's going to be some sort of team battle mode where it's like two halves going head to head for an overall score, and you each get ranked by different titles and stuff for doing well for your team. So first things first. Are you going to get the $10 DLC for Tetris 99? Marathon mode, offline battle?
I thought about it, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to justify because Puyo Puyo Tetris kind of does the job already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it...
And you just bought that recently.
Recently-ish.
Yeah. Like recent enough that it's still fresh enough that it's not like it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, like, I mean, if I need to play multiplayer Tetris, I'll just do Puyo Puyo.
I think what's...
I mean, yes, it will get rid of that overly happy music and a lot of the...
And the science bear that says Tetris even when you don't score a Tetris.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't really necessarily get annoyed by that. Maybe some people that I play with do and just don't.
I actually love it. I find it funny, but yeah, a lot of people we play with hate it.
I mean, only if it had an 8-player mode, that'd be amazing.
Right.
But
literally all the DLC is single player.
I know that's if it offered multiplayer like for up to 8 people, then yes, definitely. But since it doesn't, probably not.
I think what's kind of throwing me off is that my brain can't seem to quite wrap itself around the value. Like, on one hand, it seems like a good deal. You get 2 modes, plus at least one more later from what we know from the data mining. So that's 3 modes, 4 if you count the Switch Online actual Tetris 99 mode, for a total of $10. And for comparison, like if you look at a game like Tetris DS, that had 6 modes, 7 if you count multiplayer within one of the modes, for $30. So like, the value per mode is technically better with Tetris 99 by about 20 to 30 cents. But there's just something not as appealing as get all these modes for $30 versus, hey, here's a marathon mode and the offline version of what you already do for $10. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, it's not... It should, on paper, be a better value, but my brain keeps going, is it, though? And I think the saving grace, and what's getting me to actually go through and pull the trigger and buy it, is that, one, there's the promise of more to come beyond what the data miners found, and they said multiple modes will be coming. And 2, the online event...
So the multiple modes coming later will be included in the $10?
I believe so. It's the way it was implied is it's a one-time purchase, but then again, it's a little unclear, so I'm not quite sure. But so let's ignore that reason. The other reason I'd be interested is the online events are pretty cool now, and I want to kind of somehow signal my support of these. So I feel like throwing money at it's kind of like, yeah, do more of this. This is cool. And case in point, they're going to be doing another Maximus Cup May 17th through 19th, so next weekend. But it has a really cool twist. If you earn 100 points over the course of the weekend, which every time you win, depending on where you rank, you earn more points. So earning 100 could be if you're good, a few rounds, if you're bad, a few hours. But either way, once you hit 100, whatever it takes, you get a free Game Boy skin for your Tetris 99 playfield. And it's really cool because what it does is it takes that middle part where you're actually playing, replaces all the colors with a gray on green, old school Game Boy looking Tetris. And it opens up some kind of cool opportunities for other themes in the future. So, and it just looks awesome.
Themes are great.
Yeah, and you know from like Nintendo's perspective, it's kind of clever how they're pairing like Tetris 99's availability to all these non-Switch Online subscribers for the first time with events like the Maximus Cup and the new themes, because essentially, like what Nintendo's doing is letting folks buy a pure Tetris experience, the only full pure Tetris experience on Switch, and a third of the price of Puyo Puyo, and then turning it into a constant digital billboard for Switch Online. Like, every time you boot up the game, there's going to be that Tetris 99 online mode sitting there that you can't play until you subscribe, or they're going to be pushing all these alerts about how you can unlock the Game Boy theme, or this, or that, or play the Maximus Cup, but only if you have Switch Online. And I feel like, you know, a game like Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart, obviously they have online too, but those games, since day one, were accessible to everyone. They didn't require online first. They're games that Nintendo can only push so far with the online advertising and plugs before they annoy people, right? But for Tetris 99, it's a game that started online first, later offered up offline support for those who just want to pay up. I feel like Nintendo can, like for lack of a better term, I feel like Nintendo can spam it up with online play pitches and get away with it more than a traditional release. Like, I bet you, at this point, they'll never have a higher success rate of converting people to Switch Online if they bought Tetris 99 than by suddenly I word that bad. They will have a higher, that's what I'm trying to say. they will have a higher success rate of converting people if they buy Tetris 99 than from any single NES game in the library. There's over 40 NES games now. I doubt suddenly someone's going to be like, oh man, it's May. They added Donkey Kong Jr. and Excitebike and Clue Clue Land. I love one of those three. Let me pay $20 a year now. Like, that's not going to happen.
I haven't even been keeping track of the last 2 months of games.
Exactly. Like, it's not... They're value add for people who already have Switch Online. They're
the
not
value feels like
sellers.
it's diminishing over time.
No. Yeah, no, but... but no, like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, they're not trying to... Those aren't the sellers of Switch Online. But Tetris 99, on the other hand, if you're hooked on the offline stuff, and then they keep going like, hey, you want to do online? Hey, get this cool skin. Hey, just press the subscribe button. It's super easy. Like, that will get people to do it more. So it's a really kind of crafty... clever way to promote Switch Online in a different way than they have before, I feel like. And then for us, it's just more content, which is kind of cool. Granted, we have to pay, but still.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm probably gonna cave and buy it. Yeah, but and like really, regards to Nintendo's modes, it's just cool to see things you purchase get expanded out further at no further cost. Like, one unrelated thing that comes to mind is Horizon Chase Turbo, which I shared impressions of back in episode, I don't know, like 194 maybe? It was in January. And for those who missed it, basically the game's a modern interpretation of Outrun, or similar early 90s racing games where you're kind of just weaving around cars as you race. That's kind of the whole thing. And there's a mode in it that I didn't talk about much at the time called Playground. And it's very presented with these different challenges that are sort of mixed and matched. You have to have you may have a different goal, like winning or a time attack or a certain track, and you have to go on a certain track or be restricted to a certain car, all these different scenarios, and they change daily, and they have individual leaderboards and everything. And it's basically an easy way to extend the life of the game. It's kind of like we were talking a few episodes ago about Rico, that first-person shooter where they have the daily challenges. It's very much that. And it works. I mean, it's fun. It keeps things fresh and interesting. The leaderboard's a big help. And now, kind of out of nowhere, the game's offering, or will be getting, a free update that will revamp Playgrounds to include prizes and special cards that you can't get otherwise. So basically, they're doubling down on the motivators to do these daily challenges. And then separately from that, they're going to be adding new game modes and new DLC for new race campaigns and stuff. And it's... The only reason I bring this up, besides being like, hey, this is cool, I like it, Horizon Chase is fun, you guys should check it out.
Yeah, Jason, what are the reasons?
The only reason I bring it up is we've talked about these last few episodes how, like, cloud gaming and subscription services and all this technology is, like, killing the idea of game preservation. There's all these downsides, and it really sucks, and wow. But it's worth noting that there's the other side of the coin. Like, stuff like the Horizon Chase update or the Tetris 99 update or whatever you want wouldn't have been possible. Splatfests, all that stuff would not have been possible in the GameCube days or the Game Boy Advance days or the DS days. And it's cool that, like, that we're talking about these things. That, like, my Horizon Chase game that I bought in December and haven't played recently, but suddenly has, like, all this new stuff that makes it worth going back to. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to pay anything. It's just
you
there.
have to stretch, but you could argue that Animal Crossing has been doing this since the N64.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true. I'll give you that, but it's all baked in.
Yeah, but I know. But the game does kind of revolve around that. Like, so the mechanic is the fact that they pre-baked a bunch of content to last you the entire year that is very limited, depending on the year, which is really cool. It's like a pioneer of that kind of...
Yeah, it very much is. And I didn't even think of it from that perspective. That's a really good point. But yeah, it's just cool that, like, you think you're done with the game, and then the game's like, surprise. Now, granted, that makes it a lot harder to keep up with games.
Yeah, but after 1 full year, you're kind of seeing everything.
Yeah, with Animal Crossing, yeah. But, like, I imagine whenever Animal Crossing Switch becomes, which I'm sure will be
E3, which is even scarier.
It's going to never end. It's actually, you know what's interesting about E3?
Once we fall off of it, it's going to be harder to get back in because it's like, oh, did you get the last 5 seasons of limited furniture? Like, well, I guess not.
You know what's funny?
For 1 week they're doing all the Pokemon merchandise or whatever. And like, oh, okay, I guess I'm playing for that week. It's
funny because you mentioned that, and Pocket Camp already has that. Like, I turned it on, and it was like all these new things. But the best example of that was when I got Labo. Last episode we talked about Labo VR, right? I turned on Mario Odyssey for the first time in I don't know how long. It was about a minute and a half of just new outfit, because I didn't play it in a long time. And I'm now thinking if there's a game like Animal Crossing or, like, you know, something where it's updated constantly, oh my god, those notifications will never go away. Smash at least does it right. They just have it be one, like, scrollable thing.
And you could choose whether you want to keep reading.
Yeah, but, like, Mario is just like, I'm just saying, like, cool, oh, he's a mummy now? Oh, that's good. Oh, he's a safari now. Oh, he's Santa now. It's like, just, okay.
Oh, I have to get thousands of coins for
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like, I was just sitting there hitting A like, all right, I get it. So yeah, that's gonna become more of a thing. You're right, but I am really curious how they're gonna do the new Animal Crossing. Like, is it gonna be that heavy on like online services? Is it gonna be over Splatoon or is it gonna be Mario Kart? You know what I mean? Like, is it mostly gonna be online powered or is it mostly gonna be offline powered, but have online? And I guess we should theoretically know at E3, which is only a month away. Nintendo announced their E3 plans. Yeah, they announced their E3 plans this week. It's nothing surprising.
I won't be there. No.
I'm gonna try and convert one of mine because I have two. So I'm gonna try and convert it. So don't give up hope. But what Nintendo's doing for E3 this year is the Saturday going into E3, which is June 8th, I want to say. They're doing the World Championships for Splatoon 2 and Smash at the Ace Theater here in downtown LA, which is a very nice venue, much better than where they were last year. And then during E3, they'll have a Direct on Tuesday morning. They're finally just calling it Nintendo Direct. It's not like the E3 Super Stellar Showcase or whatever, the digital event. It's just Nintendo Direct. And then they're going to have, 3 days of Treehouse like they always do.
Should we see that as a downgrade? Or
no, it's Nintendo Direct E3 2019. I think it's a unified.
As someone that wants to read more into it.
Oh, I'm good at that. I just did that for the last half an hour. Yeah, what about it?
So that's like.
Is
that a warning of things to come? Does that mean like don't get your hopes too high up? It's just a regular Direct. We're not confident enough to call it an extravaganza.
Do you just call it a regular Durant? It's Kevin Durant, guys. It's just Kevin Durant telling you about video games. No, I think what that actually means is they are unifying their brand of the Nintendo Direct in the face of Inside Xbox.
So they're saying that every time they do a Direct is as good as E3.
They're saying if you want the word straight from the horse's mouth and you want the latest on all our games, Nintendo Direct is where to go. Not the digital event or anything like that, just Nintendo Direct. I think the way I read into it is actually backwards from what we're doing. The way I read into it is why did they try and differentiate in the past? And the reason they tried to differentiate in the past, I would argue, is because they were still trying to gently back away from doing live press conferences. So they're like, hey, like we know we don't have a live press conference, but we have the digital event. It's a special E3 only thing. And they're like, hey, we know, we had the digital event, but we have like this other thing that's also special on E3 only. And now they're just like, so we do these all the time. We announce games all the time. We have bombshells throughout the year. So, yep, here's the latest bombshell bucket for you. It's called the Direct, and it's during E3. Like, that's all it is. It was them backing away from one thing, not moving. You know what I mean? Like, it was them, adjusting. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Animal Crossing shows up. One kind of interesting thing they're doing at the press conference, at the show this year, is they are doing a Fast Pass. Kind of like they did for Smash, but for the entire booth. They're calling it the Warp Pipe Pass, and you'll be able to sign up in advance for game demos. You have a shorter line.
Well, I guess if I end up going, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get you a pass.
It seems not likely. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Don't not hold your breath, but don't hold your breath. Just like cease to be for a brief amount of time, and then revitalize yourself once you have an answer. But yeah, the E3 thing's kind of actually it's sort of fitting that we're talking about E3 because there was one other thing that spun out of the Q&A that caught my eye, and that was a weird, vague claim by Furukawa, but not really weird, just vague claim by Furukawa that now that Switch is entering its third year, they have to work on expanding the audience by, and I quote, offering new ideas to attract the consumers we haven't been able to appeal to yet. And it's easy, as someone that likes to read into things, as we have established, it's very easy to run wild with that quote, I think, and assume that, it means weird, innovative stuff. It means more Labo. It means more, maybe you buy a jetpack and you fly over a city and then you use your Switch as like a Google map. It could be who knows what. But I don't think it's that crazy. I think the craziest they would do, actually, no, they're not going to do this. Like maybe the Wii Vitality sensor comes back. But no, I don't think so. That would be cool for like Resident Evil or something. But I don't think that's going to happen either. For some reason, my mind keeps drifting back to normal game experiences. Like he said, they're offering new ideas, and I think what he means is just ones that Nintendo doesn't yet offer.
That makes sense.
Something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, let's say, which Game Informer, their June issue.
Sounds like people are excited for it.
Yeah, and like their June issue has a huge blowout cover story about it. Game Informer does.
It's a fun game.
I know it's not necessarily your wheelhouse, but what I think is interesting about the story is besides, talk about everything from the reveal of Hawkeye and Ms. Marvel's playable characters, like how the experience system will work, to
what?
To the difficulty, to
you got me hooked now.
I know, to like, where you start in the game. Like, in case you need to know, Angel, you start with the Guardians of the Galaxy, That's where the game begins. Now you know. But like besides all that nitty gritty about the game itself,
as soon as possible.
Do you?
Yeah.
You actually want to play it? Well, a twist.
Specifically as Hawkeye.
You and no one else. But no, what I was gonna say is
we're a dying breed.
What? Yeah. Well, he's getting a Disney Plus spinoff show, so you're good.
I'm not getting Disney Plus though.
Really? You're not getting Disney Plus?
I thought I told you I wasn't.
You're not getting Disney Plus?
No.
Why are you not? It's like so cheap. Why are you not getting Disney Plus?
Because I could also not spend that money.
Fair. Okay. Anyway, onward.
I mean, it's like yeah, it's cheap relative to streaming, but
well, there are no shows you care about.
There's nothing that it really offers that.
You want to watch High School Musical to show the musical?
It's like even like the exclusive animated stuff, which you think like oh, why wouldn't I want to see?
I am actually thinking
more Toy Story or Monster. I mean,
I'm good with less Forky. Forky seems like a weird character.
I mean, like I don't know, just not really interested.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a overall. I kind of have like a save money mentality when it comes to some streaming services, and unless there's like a majority of things I want to watch on there, then I'm not really gonna get it. Like the only one that I'm paying for is.
Let me ask you a different question.
It's Crunchyroll.
Are you planning to mooch off someone else's account?
Not really.
Okay, because I know that sometimes you share like Netflix's and Hulu.
I mean,
most people do.
I mean, I'm sure ultimately I'll have access to one.
Yeah,
but
so you'll be fine and you'll still watch your shows. So it's not like you're not. To clarify for the viewer at home, it's not listener. It's not you're not subscribing. It's you're not paying.
No, yeah, but I mean, I'm not actively like looking forward to anything on there.
Seeking it out, yeah.
I mean, if it's there, it's there.
That's fair. So I guess all your Hawkeye fandom will have to be channeled into Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, what I found was interesting was not him, but in the Game Informer article, what stood out to me is that Nintendo didn't see an opportunity to publish this game or wait for Marvel to come knocking, since they're teaming up with like every first party company now. Like they have multiple things with Sony. I'm sure they're working on something with Microsoft. No, like what Nintendo actually did is they went to Marvel before the Switch came out, showed them the hardware, and explained their vision to Marvel of making a new Ultimate Alliance game, and only then, once they both were like, let's do it, did they get Team Ninja involved and actually build the game. In other words, like early on, Nintendo saw a huge potential market, the Marvel fandom, and figured out a game like Ultimate Alliance 3, and we're like, this could perfectly marry that fandom, that audience we haven't tapped into, with the Switch's core concept. And
that game like just fits in perfectly for the Switch demographic. It's always been a game that, even though I never personally care for it, I know it brought a lot of people together, like both in college and in high school.
Some of our friends I played it with. On Wii.
Even some people that didn't necessarily like care about the game in general just loved playing it because they were playing with friends.
Right, and that's the thing is like as a game, Ultimate Alliance 3 is not breaking much new ground or anything, but to have it exclusively on a Nintendo system, time it to release shortly after the huge wave of endgame hype comes to an end, and then have the marketing kick off with this Game Informer article in the midst of all the endgame frenzy. Like this to me feels like Nintendo doing what Furukawa said they would. They are attracting consumers who they haven't been able to appeal to yet. Those consumers in this case just happen to be Marvel fans, because frankly, when you have Endgame already the number 2 movie of all time in just a few couple weeks, that doesn't make sense. Well, anyway, the point is, you have a huge audience of folks who may be interested in checking out Ultimate Alliance now, but never owned a Switch before, or perhaps, have the nostalgia of playing the old ones like you were describing. Like, even for me personally, I'm more interested in the game having seen Endgame than I was before seeing Endgame, which makes no sense because I watch all the Marvel movies. But, like, I was always like, oh yeah, the Wii one was fun. I plan to keep an eye on this one. This is almost
like an Endgame of...
It is.
Of Marvel, because they keep adding more characters with every game, so, like, how many more can you squeeze into?
Exactly.
It's actually kind of what I liked about the Lego games, because since I obviously don't read a lot of the DC or Marvel comics for that matter, I just get to see like, whoa, who's that character? Because they literally do squeeze in pretty much everybody.
Right.
Which is always cool.
Yeah, and what's cool is like Marvel's providing the game's writing talent, and they're purposely having it straddle the line between being like movie canon and comic book canon. So it's gonna be like, for someone like me who was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Like I'm now like, oh cool, it's gonna be actually something I'm familiar with, but kind of a fresh take on it, and that just makes it that much more appealing. So like I'm guessing you're not buying it, even though you're claiming this is your Hawkeye fix. Just knowing you.
No, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
Okay.
would you be playing it? Because I think it's 4 players on one system. You can do 4 people in one copy of the game. So I feel like we could get the band back together of the people in college I played with, add you in, or not.
I'm not the one buying it. So
No, but if it existed, would you play it? I might buy it, is what I'm saying. Basically, I'm putting a feeler out. Like, do you want to try co-op of this? Would you be down?
Only if we could
I'm putting you on the spot on a
only
recording.
Only we could play with 4 people consistently.
Yes.
But
I can name one other. We can at least have 3. I can figure out the 4th by
but
July.
Yeah, but that's a deal breaker.
July 17th, I have time.
Well, if you can figure that out, then maybe.
Wow, you refuse to commit on audio that I could play back to you. That is smart. But no, it's just like my broader point here is just that I think when Nintendo says attract a new or different audience, it's not what we think. It's stuff like this. And this is actually kind of cool now that we're starting to learn more about it. Like the Game Informer stuff, it sounds good, what I read in there. So, and it's something that, like, you know, if they can get Marvel fans to buy a Switch, what's to stop them from, say, getting Xbox fans from dipping into the Switch? You know, if all these Microsoft collaboration rumors are true, is this another type of audience Nintendo's trying to attract that they haven't been able to attract before? Just the Xbox fan base. And the reason I bring this up is a story just popped up the other day that Forza Street may be coming to Switch. And what I find interesting about this is it's a game that is not on Xbox, but is an Xbox franchise. So what Forza Street is it's a spin-off for PC and mobile. It's designed for super quick pick-up and play. Sort of like Gameloft's Asphalt series, except you don't actually steer. You just control the timing of acceleration, braking, and boost. And they built a whole game around that, has a whole campaign and everything. And someone was digging through the game's source code, and there are multiple references to the Switch in the game's source code, which makes no sense unless, you know, maybe it's coming to Switch. And if it were to come to Switch, I think they probably have to rework it a bit, let's be honest. Like, not steering is not going to work well on a system that has actual buttons. I feel like you need to be able to steer, because the general consensus I've read is that this game looks nice, runs well, but it's just too simple for its own good. So if they add steering, if they fix that, and then let's say they bring it to Switch, and then they bring xCloud to Switch, you know, the Xbox streaming service, and it offers a way for you to play your Xbox games away from your TV, but with traditional controls, opposed to like touch ones on a mobile device. That combination, like xCloud plus maybe one or maybe even multiple Xbox IP games that you can't actually play on Xbox or get on your Xbox, that sounds like a pretty enticing way to get someone who buys only Xboxes to now consider a Nintendo platform for its first time. It's another example of like the new audience that Nintendo's trying to get in a traditional way. So, you know, is it actually going to happen? I don't know. But like, I think these are sort of the things Nintendo's doing. And what would really get people, at least in the Xbox world, to jump on is there's that rumor of a Halo port coming true. And I feel like... The
rumor is coming true?
Or, wait, of coming... not there's a Halo coming to Switch, coming true. Yeah, that makes sense. Coming to Switch. And if that were to come true... I'm shortening my sentences into half sentences, I guess. But if this rumor of Halo coming to Switch came true... well, first of all, I feel like it'd have to be the Master Chief Collection. You know, the remakes all together in HD. But if it were to come true, that's just even more, you know, proving Nintendo's point here. And I think, like... the only way that could work is, if they do the Master Chief Collection. Like, there's a limit of how old a port can be in its original form before it just feels like a ripoff or lazy or cheap or whatever. And we're actually seeing a test of what that limit is quite soon. The original Devil May Cry was just announced for Switch.
It's almost a worse version of the Mass Effect scenario.
Yes. So here's the problem with it. First of all, it's a digital-only release, which is fine. That's what they did with Onimusha Warlords back in January. A slightly up-resed PS2 game, digital release. But unlike Onimusha, this isn't up-resed, it doesn't seem. Capcom's being vague, but all signs point to it being literally the PS2 original. Or maybe it's the newer version. There is a collection of the first 3 games. But if that's the case, why are they not giving us all 3? Like, it's rather odd, and it kind of begs the question of, like, when is a port... But the collection has 3.
Oh, you're right.
They did a trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. So like either they're giving us like
I wonder why they didn't include the 4th.
I think because the trilogy came out in anticipation of the 4th. I think they re-released the trilogy.
No, the 4th is the old game too, though.
Oh,
the 5th is the one that just came out.
Right. Wait, wasn't the 4th DMC the weird one with the short hair?
No, that's just DMC.
Okay, good. Because I was like that one.
Oh,
you're right.
Yeah, there is just
you're right. I think the 4th was on PS3 and the others were on PS2 though.
I mean, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I guess
but it does lead to the question of like, so either they're giving us a plucked out version from the collection, or they're giving us the original PS2 version, and like, is the original PS2 version too old at this point? Like, is there such a thing as a port too old?
Considering, I don't know, yes and no.
Yeah, that's kind of my take too.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, to be fair, Capcom does love to do this. They keep re-releasing games. They re-release Resident Evil 4 all the time. Switch is getting a bundle of Resident Evil 0 and 1 in a couple weeks. We got Ace Attorney Trilogy last month. And all of those pretty much always are the same games, just over and over and over. But what makes Devil May Cry stand out to me is that they're not porting over the latest iteration, the trilogy version. Instead, they seem to be either stripping it out to one game or giving us just the original PS2 version, and that just feels like they missed the boat on the opportunity to do that. Like, you can't, if you have a better version, you can't give us the lesser version. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And like, to be fair, like, in terms of time frame, Devil May Cry came out in 2001 originally, and it's not like we haven't had Nintendo, for example, repeatedly.
You're right. Yeah, Devil May Cry 4 was a PS3 game.
Yeah,
it only came out 3 years after Devil May Cry 3. Actually, they've all been
they're pretty consistent.
Yeah,
and then they stopped for a while.
2001, 2003, 2005, 2008,
and like that's fine if they want to give us the collection.
But 2008 to 2019 between sequels.
Yeah,
it's a brutal wait for hardcore fans.
Well, that was the DMC to.
No, this is 4 to 5, which actually continued the story. DMC was like
in the middle and didn't
an original like retelling by Team Ninja.
Right. But what I was starting to say is like, I don't know if it's so much the age issue with ports as much as it is the value. Because like Nintendo, what I was starting to say is Nintendo has done a lot of old ports too. Like you just pointed out, Devil May Cry 1 came out in 2001, right? Nintendo's done ports that are that old. Look at like the Game Boy Advance and all the Mario Advance line. That's 4 games, all ports. Mario 2 through Yoshi. But what those did differently, and what even Capcom usually does when they do their compilation bundles, I swear I can talk. What they tend to do is they add value to the ports, right? Like, there's new modes in a game, like all the Mario Advance games came with Mario Brothers Arcade added in, or they're putting the game compilation at a cheaper price than the originals all cost separately. Like, there's something where it's not like you're just buying the same game without it being touched 10 years later, 15 years later. And I think the unhappiness of Devil May Cry comes from the fact that, you know, the port, it's not necessarily that the port's old or not, it's that its value's gone down. So unless they sell this thing for like $10, which they're of course not going to do because they're Capcom, it feels like they're taking advantage of us because like they aren't adding new value. They're actively, if it really is the trilogy ones plucked out, they're actively taking away value compared to other past releases of the game. So it's kind of this weird double whammy where it's like they're not up-resing it, but they're not, you know, they're not enhancing it in a meaningful way, and they're not giving you the thing that was already with the enhanced version. They're just like, here's a piece of it for the price that's too much. And I don't know, it's odd. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for portable games. I think it's a great way to expose new audiences to titles. If, you know, they missed it the first time, they may have been too young, or they weren't into gaming at the time, or didn't get a chance to buy it. Like, literally, we were talking about they should port Detective Pikachu earlier, and the other night when I saw Detective Pikachu beforehand, my friend and I went to Dave & Buster's. It was thematically a very video gamey night for us, apparently. But we went to Dave & Buster's beforehand, and we ended up playing a bunch of the arcade version of Guitar Hero, of all things. And, you know, playing that in particular made me remember Guitar Hero is a really good game. It's a really good franchise. It's funny how quickly you, like, forget how fun it can be. Like it's like your muscle memory readapts so fast after years of not playing. Like it was really funny that like my muscle memory not just got back into its old habits of how to play, but even when when I used to slip up in the game, like if I had my hand on the wrong thing, I'd always panic and just like skip like 10 notes because I like freeze up. That immediately came back too. Like that weird muscle memory of like freezing up. It's very strange how quickly I fell back into it. But it's like I never stopped playing basically. But what I was gonna say is I think like a game like Guitar Hero could totally make a comeback right now. It'll take time. I think people still haven't fully gotten over the plastic instruments and having nowhere to stick them. So maybe it doesn't come back now. Maybe it comes back in a few years. But you know, the problem it ran into initially is each new iteration added like a tiny new feature on the guitar. So I was like, oh, should I get the new guitar? I kind of need the new guitar. And you just had all this plastic and then other instruments, and it just kept piling up. But in like 5 or 10 years, if they were to do a port of, say, the first 3 Guitar Heroes bundled together with a guitar, I'd be into that. I think a lot of people would be into that. They could even do like a best of song compilation, which is essentially what Guitar Hero Arcade is. It just sort of pluck the best things from each one. But that's kind of thing. Is like you have to. They can't just re-release Guitar Hero 1 at full price. They need to do a compilation or do a best of, or do something different if they want to bring it back. Yeah. And it's not just Guitar Hero. Like, think about every time someone wishes a series or franchise would come back. Like, often what they actually want, let's be honest, is to re-experience the games they played. Not necessarily as if like, oh, I've played this before, I want to play again, but they want that experience again. And maybe they don't consciously think that, but let me give you an example. I love the Super Monkey Ball series. It's one of my favorite GameCube series. The main game with its mazes is a lot of fun, but what really stuck with me is Monkey Target. Played it a ton when the game came out, played it a ton in high school. In college, played it. You and I actually, I think when we first met, used to play Monkey Target in my dorm at the very beginning when we first were becoming friends a couple times.
Definitely not.
No, there were a couple times we did.
The only time I ever played Monkey Target was actually at your place. That was my first time ever playing it.
Really?
Yep. You played
well, that was after the college dorm experience I thought we had. Wow. Out of context, that's a horrible sentence.
But you played it a lot with our other friends.
Yes, I thought you were there for some of that. Yeah, but anyway,
I would have remembered, but yeah, I definitely never played Monkey Target.
But it's very fun, right? And like every time a new Monkey Ball was announced, I immediately thought back to Monkey Target and wanted to have that experience again, that Monkey Target.
That dorm experience.
That door experience you and I thought shared. But the problem is, at some point, Sega kind of ruined Monkey Target. I can't actually remember what they changed. It's been years, but I remember being disappointed by how it changed. And now, just the other day in Japan, Sega filed a trademark for what they call Tibgoro Super Monkey Target. And apparently Tibgoro or Tabegoro, I don't know how to say it. It's Japanese for like in season or ripe or like some sort of like the fruit is ready word. So basically the name is implying it's a comeback. There's going to be a Monkey Ball comeback, which is awesome. But then I remembered the Monkey Target thing. And as much as I want a new Monkey Ball, part of me is kind of just hoping they give us HD remakes of the original and its sequel, and then bundle them together and put them on Switch, because what I'm actually pining for is the original Monkey Target, and there's no other way to guarantee we get the original Monkey Target. And I think that, in many ways, is what the thing with ports is. Like, people will be like, oh, I want a new experience, I want this, I want that one, the next thing. But I feel like, at least on a lot of levels, what you actually want is you want to relive that one experience you already had. And ports do that sometimes. And the thing is, they just need to offer some sort of value. Like, I guess what I'm getting at is with any game port, Guitar Hero, Monkey Ball, whatever, it's just about the value. Like, I want Monkey Target, but I'd still feel ripped off if it was copy-pasted from a GameCube game with no graphical enhancements and zero added value. You know, like, I'd be on board with Guitar Hero coming back, but I wouldn't want them to just press the first game onto a Switch cartridge. I'd want something...
Unless it was severely discounted, right? Like, if it was like $5?
Yeah, if it was like $5, but it's never going to be $5. No publisher would do that. It doesn't make sense.
Fine, $6.
But no, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, it's not realistic to expect that. So instead, I need this other side of it where they need to do something different. It's kind of like, let's describe it as kind of like a car. You know, the value of the original goes down over time. And with used cars, they could just keep lowering the price. With games, there's only so low they'll go before it's not worth it to make the, you know, to actually release it or do the physical media or whatever. So you got to supplement it by enhancing the package in some way. So whether that's an HD remake, a compilation, some new features, whatever it is, you gotta do something. And I feel like Devil May Cry is gonna be a lesson for Capcom, where if they don't do anything, it's not gonna do great. But I'm hoping they do something, or I'm hoping they learn that lesson, because like Capcom has a crazy good back catalog. That could be so many awesome ports, and I'm a little worried that Devil May Cry is setting a bad precedent. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, what's your take on ports?
Monkey Ball?
Just on ports.
I don't know.
Are you usually cool with them?
I mean, usually I'm cool with them because it means I get to play a game that I missed. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, either it's a game I wanted to play that I never got around to. On a port, rarely no, because, I mean, my consoles and everything is still accessible. If I want to replay a game, I could easily replay that game. So I rarely have a reason to double dip.
What about the idea?
There are some exceptions, like I double dipped on Donkey Kong Country 2 for my 3DS because
portable.
Yeah, it's just nice playing it. Well, just more like playing it in bed, not so much that I guess
play it away from a TV. Yeah. Which I feel like That's the one thing Devil May Cry has in its back pocket, is they can pitch it on that at merit alone. But again, other games have done that. Like tons of Switch games have done it. Saints Row the Third just came out with the full package, which the whole pitch is, hey, it's all the DLC plus the game, but now it's portable, which is like every Switch port. But the thing is, it's not like they release Saints Row 1 through 3 on other systems. They're like, we'll just pluck back out 3 for a second and give it to you separately. Like, like Mass Effect, they released Trilogy
when they do
the month
that,
before.
It sucks, and I feel it makes me feel like bad about it.
Yeah.
But ports in general, I feel, are a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
It keeps the legacy going.
I agree. And,
accessibility is always nice.
Mm-hmm. And I think that actually just about does it. We were going to do what we're playing, but what we're playing we need to play more of to talk about next episode. You have Blazing Beaks. I'll have Box Boy
I still have
Girl.
another what we're playing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to talk about the Kratos movie.
Well, yeah, but...
okay, what have you been playing? I was under the impression you had nothing to play.
No, I mean, if you had listened to me last time, you would know. No, I've been playing a game called... Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jason doesn't listen. He just hears. Wait, no, he doesn't. He just speaks. Yeah, there we go. Anyway.
The timestamps reflect us. Yes.
Yeah. Now I've been playing a game called Death Coming. It's a...
Oh, you did tell me about this. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know, just one of those games I just randomly saw a trailer for, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's like a pixel art, isometric 3D kind of game with very cutesy looking characters, but eventually...
It's on Switch, right?
Yeah, it's on Switch. Okay. It's also, you can straight up tell it's a mobile game. It's actually straight up designed for mobile. It's better to play this game on the touchscreen than it is on the TV, because moving the cursor is kind of slow. And this game, you kind of do want fast-ish reaction, not the fastest, but essentially you play as like the Grim Reaper's assistant, because you die at the beginning of the game and you're just trying to kill as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. It's like Hitman, except you could be anywhere at any time.
And isometric.
Yeah. But it's all like pixel. Like the people look like something you would find like in a preschool playset of a little tiny city. Because that's pretty much what it is. You see like a big section of a city, of a factory, of a museum, like stuff like that. And like you kill people from simple ways like just dropping something on them to setting things up, like turning on an electrical like circuit so that you could then expose them to a puddle, or one of the more obscure ones, and will kind of give you a idea of the rating of this game. There is a mistress that I guess like a leader is involved with, and like whenever they show anything, it's like censored and blurry, but I mean it's like super pixelated anyway, so it just looks pretty funny. It's like more for comedic effect of anything.
Oh, so it's rated EC for early children? No,
obviously not.
Remember, that was a thing? That was a real rating.
So like that's like this is the only kill I'll spoil, but essentially you have to so even though this woman is having an affair with the man in, I guess, the leader of this factory, mm-hmm. you have to get another soldier that you have to find out that she's like romantically involved with to get into that, I guess, love chamber that she's in.
Love chamber? You mean a bedroom?
I mean, it's a bedroom, but like the bed is like a giant heart. There's like a giant...
yeah. It's a Nintendo owned and operated love hotel.
Yeah, it's a love hotel. Yeah. And then you pretty much have to get them caught in the act of her cheating with this other person so that the man could kill both of them, which ups your kill count. Because every level has like a ton of little people, and sometimes you have to kill like at least 60 people to move on to the next level, on top of 3 targets that you have to kill for like bonus points. Like those are like your like special targets, and it gets tough because you only have so many things you can interact with. It's almost like Ghost Trick, like where you have to find what you can interact with. Like, oh, here are some blinds. If I tap it, they'll move up. Or sometimes you have to like lure people to other places. Like, oh, if I open set of blinds, it'll scare like the people because there's like something behind the blinds, which will have them run to this other place where I could then drop something on them. Or like sometimes there are hidden things around. Like in almost one point, you could make like Dracula appear, but you have to do something that is a little straightforward, but it's like a multi-process thing. And there are some other more well-hidden ones that will kill a bunch of people at once. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's very lighthearted, but, I mean, it does involve a lot of deaths, but it's also just very pixely. But it's literally a puzzle. It's like if Hitman was a little puzzle and
Hitman was made for Super Nintendo.
Yeah. And
like, looking at the graphics, I pulled it up. Yeah.
And he had, like...
It looks cool.
And he had omnipotent powers. But I guess the only wrinkle that's kind of keeping you on check a little bit, not too much, I would say, is after a certain number of kills, you get angels on you, because angels want people to die of natural causes for the most part, but you're kind of not causing that. So they start going on patrol. So when you tap on like on an item that could be used to kill someone, it'll start glowing red, which means that you queued it up. So pretty much everything needs to be tapped twice, like once to queue it up and once to actually activate it. And that's kind of its way of letting you know, like, okay, if it's glowing red, that means that this is ready to kill someone. Or if it's glowing green, that means it needs some more setup. But if it's glowing red or green, that also means that you're actively ready to use it. And if the angels, they have like a line of sight that they're kind of moving around as they fly around the stage. Mm-hmm. If that gets caught in it, you get a strike, and 3 strikes and you're out. So you pretty much have to make sure, keep an eye on the angels. You can zoom in and out of the map and just make sure that you're not queuing up something to kill someone with while the angels are around. And I mean, that's pretty much the game.
It sounds fun.
It's fun. It's simple. I feel like I honestly would have, once I started playing it, I kind of realized like, I probably should have just gone this on the iPad. But it works fine on the Switch. I mean, you could pinch to zoom. You could scroll around with the finger pretty fast. The only thing is that because the screen isn't that big, your finger does tend to like block something that you probably wouldn't want to block.
Sure.
I mean, it's not a game breaker. It's just, I just kind of wish I didn't have that issue. Like, the bigger screen of the iPad would have been way more convenient.
How does it...
Definitely don't play this on a phone.
How does this work on a TV?
With the analog sticks.
Oh, okay.
So you just move a cursor and it just...
okay.
And it accelerates, but it starts moving very slowly to kind of give you that accuracy.
The precision.
But if you want to go across the screen, it'll start to accelerate before it starts going really fast. And touch screen is just way better.
Right. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's $7 on Switch.
Something like that.
Versus $2 for iPad.
Yeah.
Is that Switch tax?
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, maybe. But it sounds like a cool game.
I'm enjoying the game plenty, but I kind of wish I had just gotten it
on the other platform.
Yeah. I didn't really... Normally I would look these things up, but I didn't really bother to check if it was available on iPad. Kind of like this game by Image Inform, Ants, that one that we talked about already.
We talked about in our GEC episode.
Yeah, it's like, that game is coming to the Switch, but I liked it, but I feel like I'm probably just going to get it on iPad because it was designed for that first, and even though the Switch does have a touchscreen, like why...
It's not the primary input.
Yeah, like, why handicap it? I have access to a bigger screen with a better touchscreen.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, can't believe I forgot you had a game you've been playing. All I knew is the games we weren't playing, but we do have those next episode. You're going to be talking about Blazing Beaks. I'm going to be playing Box Boy and Box Girl. Actually, you're going to be revisiting Blazing Beaks.
I'll talk about Raising Kratos next time.
Sure. Unless we still could.
I guess. Really quick thoughts. On a really great documentary, if you just want to see what it's like to build a new AAA game, like what it, just like from beginning to end, they kind of like, they've had this documentary kind of going since the very first God of War. Like, they've been using footage like from all the way back then. So
that's a long-term plan, right?
Yeah,
there.
And it's pretty crazy. Just, you can see like their thought process, like how like they're getting hyped with each game, but then it really starts like when they start. It really starts in that lull between God of War Ascension, which like was kind of like the bridge between 3 and 4, which part 4 was just called God of War. And at that point, like, Kratos was kind of seen as like a one-dimensional character. A lot of people were kind of getting bored of God of War, so it was like a huge gamble at the time. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, if we put out another one, are they gonna like it? Are we just gonna,
especially when it's
go to obscurity
reboot? And
then they had to, like, so you could really like feel the pressure and the stress, and it's pretty nuts. And it definitely made me appreciate the game a lot more. And I wouldn't be surprised if other games go through this.
I would love.
So it's actually, like it's a good watch if you're just a fan of video games. Like, I would even recommend you watch it. I don't know, you don't really tend to take suggestions from people, but I mean, I'm
a selfish, rude man. I forgot you played a video game, and we're going to talk about it. And I forgot you're going to play a documentary or talk about a documentary.
Yeah. But yeah, I really recommend it to you.
I'll
Jason.
check it out.
Right.
And
it's on YouTube.
Well,
it's
you
free.
and I watched Indie Game the movie together when that was really good. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow, maybe we did play Monkey Target together and you forgot because we definitely watched Indie Movie together or Indie Game movie together.
Huh.
Yeah, we watched it on your computer right here, actually.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Indie Game the movie came out when we were in college.
We watched it.
We definitely didn't
right
watch it
here when you had your iMac.
It doesn't feel.
Or maybe
right.
it was in the other room.
We
watched it on a computer screen, not a TV.
That does not feel right, but
it definitely was. I could find the tweet and we can check to see what we were doing that day because I check in everywhere. I'm not creepy at all, everyone. Not in the least bit.
All right.
Yeah,
and with that,
so enough of Creeper Jason and enough of the podcast for today. So yeah, like I was starting to say, next episode, like I was starting to say twice before I kept forgetting you had things to say. Next episode is going to be a pretty good one because we have impressions of Box Boy and Box Girl and Blazing Beaks in its final form. You played it at what, GDC originally, and now you're checking out the rest of it.
The multiplayer,
multiplayer side of it. And I'll be unboxing Box Boy and Box Girl in the not literal sense. So if you want quality humor like that, you be sure to follow and subscribe to us. You can find us on Twitter at Random Nintendo. You can find us on podcast apps like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Stitcher and Spotify and YouTube. Our channel is RandomNintendo.com and TuneIn and wherever fine podcasts are sold. Or individually, I'm on Twitter at JSR7. He's on Twitter at Weiro, WEIRO_O. And yeah, it pretty much does it. Really, the takeaway from this episode is you should go see Detective Pikachu. You should enjoy Detective Pikachu. And then we'll be back on May 26th and you should become Detective Pikachu. And yeah, we'll be back on May 26th, which is Memorial Day weekend, that Sunday. And we will not be talking. Oh no, we might talk about Detective Pikachu. You might see it by then. So
maybe, no guarantees.
Who knows? It's a mystery to everybody. It's a case that only Detective Pikachu can solve, really.
Wow, that was excellent.
Thank you. I'm so proud.